To be a Steelers, consider others before you consider yourself. To protect your brother, even from himself. To give support at your own expense. And when wearing the black and gold suit of armor, make sure nobody desecrates it, disrespects it. Most importantly, we ourselves don't dishonor it. From previous legends who have donned the black and gold. These virtues I learned while playing for the Steelers are what make the legacy of the black and gold timeless. They are passed down in the locker room from the steel curtain to anyone who valiantly wears the black and gold. Creating a brotherhood that is deeper than money, business, and winning. To be a Steelers, consider others before you consider yourself. This is our culture, Steeler culture. Now, here are your hosts, Rob and Dan, the Steel Twins.
Steelers Nation, how are we doing tonight? Thank you guys so very much for tuning in on another edition of the Steeler Culture Podcast, where we are here, back home from Pittsburgh, to break down this very interesting 2026 Pittsburgh Steelers NFL Draft Class presented by Prize Picks.
Interesting is quite the word to put it in.
That's the one word I can come up with right now.
It surely was that. It surely was confusing at times. It surely was a bit of a head scratcher with some of the selections, but
I'll tell you, it definitely had me on a roller coaster of emotions.
Oh, especially early on, bro. In Heinz Field, right?
It was one of those draft classes where, like, as the picks kept coming and the selections were being made by Khan and company, it made you think, okay, what are they doing here? But let's try to play it out and see how it turns out. And that's pretty much how I felt through the first 2 days. Is after the first pick with Max Iheanachor in the first round.
Iheanachor.
That's how you say his last name, Iheanachor. We were like, okay, we want tackle again, a project tackle, but we still need guard and receiver. Come day two, we trade up for a receiver. We get Germie Bernard. We actually traded up for a playmaking receiver, a separator for once. Hell yeah. After the Makai Lemon debacle night one, we had to do it. And then we waited till the very last pick of day two to select guard. We traded up for Gennings Dunker, but not after we took Drew Allar from Penn State, and then Daylen Everette. There were certain situations where I'm thinking, okay, we need a guard. We haven't taken a guard. There are certain players on the board I really like that I would prefer over certain players, including the ones we selected. They didn't take them. They took the players that we got, the new Pittsburgh Steelers officially.
Yeah, 10 new Pittsburgh Steelers.
10. They had 12 coming into this class, 12 picks. They made 3 trades. Omar Khan made 3 trades, 2 of them on night 2.
That's
which
right.
so happened to go get a receiver and a guard. So ultimately, he did indeed fix the needs with players that we really like, that we think will definitely be long-term solutions, that I think will be absolute great pros for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And good contributors at those respective positions. Though the head-scratching part about it all is he took positions before those needs, like offensive tackle, like Iheanachor, offensive tackle. I understand the debacle with the Makai Lemon situation. It surely caught me and Danny off guard. You can tell based off our reactions live at Heinz Field. Never crossed our mind that tackle would have been a first-round option for the Steelers.
Well,
I guess they wanted to prioritize that based off the Broderick Jones situation.
Sure. Well, let me just ask you, how many of y'all thought of Max Iheanachor as a selection after Makai Lemon was taken by the Eagles and the Eagles traded up right in front of us in our own house to take the guy that Omar Khan called before he was even on the clock? How many of y'all thought about Max Iheanachor being the selection? I know I didn't. I wasn't thinking tackle.
I did not
We
at
already
all.
took Omar Khan's taken 3 tackles in the last 4 years, which officially labels Broderick Jones a bust from 2023 because his time's over. He's not getting his 5th-year option. I don't think he never was, neck injury or not. But clearly, his run's over. Whether he gets healthy or not, I don't know what his future holds this year. I'm looking at Iheanachor to be a starter at right tackle. Where does that put Fatanu? At right or at left probably.
Left tackle, which is where we played at Washington, though that wasn't he wasn't protecting the blind side for Michael Penix over there.
No, he has never, Troy Fatanu for that matter, has never protected the blind side for any quarterback.
No, he has not held that responsibility as of yet, and it kind of seems right now that might be the direction for Troy Fatanu because of the Max selection.
Right.
Because Max played right tackle, and I don't envision the Steelers moving somebody that's still inexperienced playing the sport of football over to left tackle and having to learn the other side. Because he's primarily a right tackle. You know what I'm saying?
Well, considering he has only played maybe 5 years of football.
That's what I'm saying.
Iheanachor? Yeah.
Inexperienced, why would you have him go over to the other side and learn that position? Learn that side.
I wouldn't do that. I don't know why we're adding another project tackle to the line. We've already dealt that with Broderick. The worst case is Max Iheanachor turns out to be another Broderick Jones. We don't want that. Do I think he's better coming out of college than Broderick? Yes, I do. Because if you know he's raw and he's a project, I think he's farther along than what Broderick was, which is promising because I think Iheanachor has a great ceiling in working with a O-line group, an offensive line coaching group led by James Campen, who has a rich history with the Green Bay Packers. It's much better than dealing with Pat Meyer, than being coached up by Pat Meyer. So there's promise there. There is hope there. And then they finally went and got receiver. They decided to take quarterback and corner before guard, but they still eventually got their guard, so I guess it all worked out. I think Dunker's going to be a great guard for us at left guard. He's going to have to be moved over all the way to the other side, but he was going to have to do that anyway based off his arm length and how it plays up to his strength. So ultimately, I think it's going to work out for Dunker in the guard position for the Steelers. And then day 3 comes, and they did something I didn't think they were going to do. At least not early. They went and got Kaden Wetjen in the 4th round. He's an electric return specialist. We all know we haven't had a great return specialist in a long time, at least not a consistent one. It's been a revolving door, and I got stats to tell you shortly, but these stats are very staggering, and it explains why they got Wetjen, and that's why I'm not upset about it. Could they have waited? Absolutely, but I 100% understand why they went and got him at 121.
It definitely caught me off guard. It caught me by surprise a little bit because, I mean, I did believe that they would address the return duties in the draft. They would look for a return specialist, and that they did. And I'm glad that they did. Well, Wetjen, he's the best guy that was coming to the NFL draft. He's one of the better guys coming from college with his resume as a return specialist.
Right.
But it was a little earlier than I anticipated, though, based off the stats that we're going to go down later on. And Wetjen's resume, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with the selection in the 4th round.
Right. And then we got we had a 6th round pick, 161. We traded back and got an extra 6th. So I'm sorry, we were in the 5th round, traded back to get an extra 6. We got Riley Nowakowski, tight end / fullback hybrid out of Indiana. Another natty championship winner in the locker room. Steelers love those guys. For the past number of draft classes, they've been drafting them endlessly from Georgia ever since Indiana, from years ago back to 2022, 2023. To even more recent. I feel like they've drafted someone that's either won or participated in a natty championship every single draft class since then.
Yep, they love their championship pedigree, and with a guy like Nowakowski and his skill set, it's not hard to see why they selected him.
I love Nowakowski. He's one of my favorite day 3 tight ends for the Steelers to target.
Big time.
So I like the Nowakowski pick. He's someone you guys are really going to like. For tight end 3, he's going to be a very quiet tight end 3. but I'm telling you, you're going to like Nowakowski. And then we got into the 6th and 7th rounds, where this was just to fill role players. It really was. I wouldn't look too much into Gabriel Rubio. I had to look into him a little bit because we had no idea who this guy was. But he's a Steeler. Funny enough, his father was drafted by the Steelers, Angel Rubio, in the 7th round of the 1998 draft class. Almost 30 years later, now his kid is drafted. The Steelers just love drafting their former draftees' kids.
Especially in the later rounds. Carson Brunner was that just last year.
And he's a great special teams guy. Now Gabriel Rubio, who can obviously JPJ. Am I missing anyone? Is Ben Roethlisberger? Is his kid going to be a quarterback soon? We need to know.
Give it 10 years.
We need to know this information.
Give it 10 years.
Is James Harrison's kid going to play edge rusher? We need to know this information. Is Troy Polamalu? Does he have a nephew we don't know about? I'm just saying, the bloodlines run wild in Pittsburgh.
Actually, he does. He plays for the Raiders.
Get him over here.
And maybe in free agency. Who knows? Maybe down the road.
I'm just saying, man. Does Mean Joe Green have a grandkid that's going to play football soon? They love drafting their former draftees' kids, man. They just love the local kids. They love that familiarity, I suppose. They drafted Robert Spears Jennings, safety out of Oklahoma. This is mainly special teams. That's how I view it. It's mostly special teams. And then at 2:30, the last pick here, they grabbed one of our favorite players. I didn't think they were looking his direction, but it just makes sense. He's the hometown kid from Pittsburgh. He went to school there. Eli Heidenreich, running back out of Navy. This is awesome. This one I can get behind. It's a great story. It's a nice late-round flyer, and it's good extra competition for Caleb Johnson. And I do think he absolutely has a role on Sundays for any team in the NFL. This guy's a playmaker.
He's a contributor. He showcased that at Navy. And I got to say, watching it on television, him getting emotional when his name was announced, him coming out and being welcomed by the Pittsburgh crowd, his hometown people. He got selected to his hometown team in his hometown.
Awesome.
That's quite a story. That's quite an experience, man. You can't take that away from him.
That was awesome.
That was a beautiful moment for Heidenreich.
Yeah, man. It's just, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Watching that here, sitting in this seat, watching it at the TV, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's a feel-good story. It's an awesome moment for an awesome person and a humble guy who's just nothing but heart. And obviously, he serves the country. So I salute you, good sir. Thank you for your service. Now you're serving for our Steelers shield. Captain America, welcome to the Steelers, man. I got a little teary-eyed watching that. It's one of those draft stories that just warms you
Well,
up.
I mean, how can you not feel something seeing him get all emotional and just being in the moment?
Yeah.
It's quite an experience.
It's definitely one of our favorite picks here, and I think he definitely could be a sleeper come camp and to definitely make the 53 for some role in this offense. Under McCarthy, it's possible.
Yes, sir.
But yes, they had a heavy emphasis on offense. The only defense that they really selected was for depth purposes. That's it. Depth and special teams. Otherwise, it was a very heavy emphasis on the offense, getting some playmakers, and mostly, finally, fixing the offensive line. So there you have it. Omar Khan continues to go with the trenches and prioritizes the offensive line early. Maybe not as early as we wanted, or I would have liked them to go a little earlier with a certain guard like Pregnon, but I guess beggars can't be choosers.
Again, some head-scratching moments when it comes to this draft. There's different paths I would have gone that would like the Steelers to go down in, but obviously that wasn't the case.
Yeah, I feel like the priority of the positions they selected was very head-scratching to me.
A little bit, for sure.
Like, I'm not... Like, getting Dunker at the end of day 2 worked out. It really worked out because that's great value. I still question their priorities, though.
Yeah, big time.
That's the one thing with this draft class. Overall, when I look at this draft class, and we'll go in with pick for pick very shortly. When I look at this entire draft class, I do feel a little bit underwhelmed. And I still have concerns at linebacker because they didn't draft a linebacker.
No, not one linebacker taken. And they had 10 picks.
They had 10 picks, not one off-ball linebacker selected. And I still have concerns with the wide receiver depth because all our wide receiver depth is Roman Wilson. It's Roman Wilson, Ben Skoranek.
Is Scotty Miller still with the team?
No, he's not.
He's not?
A.T. Perry.
Hey, listen, we're going to get into it. We're going to discuss it. We're going to break it all down here.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah,
So,
we are. But there's a poll in the chat. How are you guys feeling about this draft class? Great, good, mid, or bad? Let us know your true, honest feelings about this Steelers draft class. The 2026 draft is in the books. Pittsburgh broke records, 805 fucking thousand.
Plus, at the NFL draft, within 3 days, Pittsburgh broke records.
That's a very warranted swear jar.
Just insane. I mean, you could tell, like, we were there for night 1. We walked around there for night 2. And just being a part of the environment, being down in the city, you know.
Dude, it was crazy.
It was quite the experience.
It was. But getting back on the buses, dude, it was wild. It was wild, but it was an experience. It sucks we had to leave Pittsburgh so soon. I miss it already. Man.
Yeah, as soon as we got the bags packed and got them in the truck on the way back home, it's just like, damn, like, Pittsburgh's right behind us.
I know.
I already miss it.
I do. Yeah, it's just one of those things like.
But our time there, I mean, like, I had a blast, bro. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience when it comes to the draft. I mean, the city of Pittsburgh absolutely deserved to hold an event like this. And the people in Pittsburgh and the people that traveled from far distances to attend the town and attend the draft, man, like, this is what football does, right? Football brings us all together. This is how much we love the sport of football, despite what teams we cheer for.
Right. Or how different opinions we might have on certain things. Football brings us together.
We all love the sport of football, and I'm glad that Pittsburgh was able to hold such an event like that and break and shatter records at that.
They did.
Pittsburgh deserved it.
They do 320,000 on night 1. Probably just as much, if not more, night 2.
Yeah.
It was insane, man. And being there in person was great. We met a lot of yins down there. It was really cool to see you guys down at Point State or at Heinz Field or at the draft theater or whatever, right? It was really cool to see a lot of you guys out there. The list you guys see back here, the sign is all the names of the people that we met. I had to get y'all's names because we wanted to put it in the background for you. We'll shout you guys out. Thank you guys for such a great weekend. We have a super chat here. 2 by Mason says, I hated this draft, but I hope I get proven wrong. There's a lot of people saying that.
Hey, listen, we're going to break it down, but I do want to give a quick shout out to the people that came up to us and said hi. I want to give a shout out to Justin, Dwayne, Mason, Jim and Susan, Joey, Taquan, Trey, Dante, Trev, Charlie, Little Brody, Rob, Corey, Brian, Colby, our guy Jacob Bergs. Shout out to Jacob.
Shout out to Bergs, man.
Connor and Jack, who we bumped into while leaving for night 1.
Yeah.
While we were kind of a little heated a little bit based off the Max.
Well, fresh off the press after the Max Iheanachor selection.
Yeah, and Lemon being taken by the Eagles.
We were literally leaving the
stadium.
Heinz Field.
Yes.
And it was just cool to see that. It was really cool.
So shout out to all you guys, man. Appreciate the love and support. It was great meeting you all down in Pittsburgh, man. It's quite an experience. Can't thank you guys enough, bro.
Pittsburgh hit it out the park. Like everything they did and how they set everything up. They were as prepared as they could be. Probably not prepared for 805,000 total throughout 3 days.
I don't know if any city or town will be prepared for that.
No, you can't.
I don't think.
Imagine what DC is going to be like next year.
I don't know if DC is going to top it.
I don't know. It's the nation's capital.
Yeah, it's the nation's capital, but this is Pittsburgh. Nothing beats Pittsburgh.
Got that right.
Nothing beats the city of Pittsburgh, man. I love Pittsburgh.
It's crazy, man. But yeah, it was a great time.
And I look forward to getting back down there. Whenever that is, whether that's for a game or another event, that's yet to be determined. We definitely look forward to being back down there.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All I can say is I can't wait to get back. I don't know how soon it's going to be, but I can't wait to get back. But chat, man, thank you guys for tuning in for this recap for the draft. You know, the draft's over. It feels like Christmas to me. You know, when the draft is here, it's like opening presents on Christmas morning. You don't know what the hell you're going to get. It's the excitement of it. And then when it's over, it's like, fuck. It's like it's over.
Pretty much.
Jar, it's over. Like you kind of get...
Like all the fun's gone.
All the fun's gone, and it's like we got a whole nother year to get back to it. So the draft's over. Another draft in the books. It got here quick, and it flew by even faster. It's crazy how that works, right?
That it did, for sure, brother.
D Meads with a 199. So did you guys go to Topo to see Terry Bradshaw? I did not.
No, Tops, no, we did not, no.
No, we were not on the field, actually. We were mostly hanging out in the draft theater where the big stage was in the parking lot of Heinz Field.
And I got to tell you, man, the way that they conducted that stage is legit larger than life. Like when you look at it on TV and just watching it, you're thinking like, wow, that's a big stage. But like up close and personal with it, like by the railing, it's like,
cool.
holy crap.
It was really, really, really cool, man. It really was. Yes, I'm aware the Pens play tonight. I don't know why they're switching their goalie. The goalie's the last of their fucking issues. Skinner was doing a good job. It's not his fault Letang and all the defensemen suck.
I'm worried that the Pens are going to get swept. So, I mean, like, the Pens haven't been played good. I mean, they're not playing with enough heart or pride out there, just based on what I've seen. So
I don't know, man. Aaron Derrick says, yo, I was looking for y'all there. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to meet you guys. Yeah, we heard that from a couple of y'all, and that's unfortunate. It's you know, so many people there, you just don't know where you're at. And the way they had it so ranged at, like, they had it, like, they had so much going on that obviously it's hard to really pinpoint, hey, where are these guys going to be, or where should we be, right? It's just one of those things. But obviously, it's not the last time we'll be in Pittsburgh. It might not be the last time we attend an NFL draft. So
never say never.
No. But for those that we did meet, it was great. For those that we didn't, it sucks, but there's always another chance.
Absolutely, bro.
And we look forward to that.
Big time.
Now, let's get into this. I almost said mock draft. No, mock draft's over. Mock draft season's over.
Let's get into the official Steelers 2026 NFL draft class. And let's start with our first round selection, which should have been Makai Lemon and could have been Makai Lemon.
It would have been Makai Lemon if, one, the Eagles didn't trade up with Dallas in front of the Steelers to go get him, or two, Omar Khan didn't sit too pretty and actually trade up just to secure him, because that was their number one option. Max Iheanachor was not their number one option. They were on the phone with Makai before the Steelers were on the clock, and they said, hey, we're going to take you. Then Philly jumped up.
Hey, why Philly coming?
And yeah,
Yeah.
what happened. Makai is now in PA, but not on that side of PA. He's on the other side.
No, he's not repping the black and gold,
Unfortunately. And y'all know Makai was me personally, my number one guy.
He was my number one for quite a bit up until basically within the last week. Vega creeped up to my number one player I wanted up until the Ravens.
Fucking Raven.
The Ravens took him, yes. I tried that damn hard to pronounce his name, and now he's a freaking Raven.
I know. But that fell flat. It looked very embarrassing of the Steelers. And I do say it did look embarrassing because, like, how juvenile can you look to get so safe with wide receiver needy teams lurking that you don't get, with 12 picks, rather, to go up and go get the guy you really want.
And not to mention that, of course, the draft was hosted in your backyard, and Lemon was there in attendance, and just the moment to happen of Lemon coming out there to hold the jersey and wear the hat, it would have been
electric.
It would have been great.
It would have been crazy.
But we know that's not the case. That didn't happen. So the Steelers had to pivot basically instantly, and they opted to take Max Iheanachor, offensive tackle out of Arizona State.
Yes, they did. It doesn't surprise me that Omar Khan fell back and went with the trenches again, because that's all he's done in the first round since being GM, since being promoted, is trenches. Broderick, Fatanu, Harmon, and now Iheanachor. Those are his first round picks, officially.
Mm-hmm.
It's all trenches.
That's right.
That's his influence. That's mostly Andy Waddle's influence. That's who they fell back on. Do I think he was the top guy on their board and the best lineman on their board available? Obviously, because they selected him. The thing with him is he's a project. Do we need another project on the line?
I don't think we do. Honestly, I don't think it was, when it comes to tackle, I don't think it was that dire of a need, at least not in my opinion. At least I don't see it that way, just based off of the way Dylan Cook played when he filled in for Broderick when he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with this news of Broderick Jones that was reported by Schefter with his neck, he had a setback, I figured, you know what, based off Cook's performance, maybe they take the chance on him under James Campen and see if they can build upon his progression of what he showcased last season, and maybe draft a tackle later on, like say third, fourth round, and have that as a camp battle. Have a third, fourth rounder as the project to go up against Cook. But they opted to go with Iheanachor in the first.
Right, probably because of his ceiling. That's the thing with Iheanachor, is he has a high ceiling.
Which I can understand, because I never once said that this was a bad pick or that Iheanachor was a bad player.
I don't know. And D Meads with a 499 says getting jumped in the draft sucks. But why would Omar call player before the Steelers were on the clock? To me, that is what's embarrassing. It is. The funny thing is he did that just last year with Harmon. The only thing is no one was going to trade up for Derek Harmon. So, yeah, he could have called him before he was on the clock, and he did. Makai, I don't understand how you can be so safe. You should have been extra safe in a different way by trading up and getting him. But obviously, that's not reality. The reality is Iheanachor is wearing 71, and he is projected to be the right tackle.
Because go ahead.
No, Mike McCarthy did mention that they're going to try to see where he fits, but they're going to start him off at right tackle, or tackle specifically. We're thinking right tackle because that's where he's played most of his time, all his time really, at Arizona State. This guy has played maybe 5 years of football. Not one snap, not one play of high school football.
No.
So this guy is essentially fresh to the sport. He is brand new to the sport.
He played football for the first time in 2021 when he was at East Los Angeles College before he enrolled to Arizona State in 2023.
Yes.
And that's when he got a little bit of time playing at tackle. He had 5 starts playing 6 games, 4 at right tackle, 1 at left tackle. So he has minimal experience at left, but 4 starts at right tackle. And then in the last 2 years, he became the full-time starting right tackle for both 24 and 25.
And he didn't allow a single sack last year.
No, he
so
didn't.
for him not playing a lot of football and him playing to that kind of level and even getting a first-round selection, and he was always projected to go in the first round. It's not like we've reached for Max. He was always projected to go in the first round. That's what consensus had him going. So for him to get that kind of grade and selection is impressive on his side, which is very promising for his future, considering who we added in our O-line room. I think at the point of the selection, it wasn't about why would you take Max. It was more of how could you let Lemon fall through your grasps like that. I think it was the circumstances how they got Max.
Yeah.
Max himself's not a bad player. He's not. I think his floor is he turns out like Broderick, which would suck. But I think his ceiling is a lot higher. And I think we can get that ceiling out of him. Mason with a 5 says, Max hasn't played much football, but look at his performances against top competition. He lacks experience, yes, but he's not the typical project. Indeed. He has played against top competition, and again, 0 sacks allowed last year.
Yeah, and one key matchup that people continue to bring up is his battle with David Bailey, who was taken number 2 to the Jets, and he held his own. I mean, that Texas Tech defense last year was out of this world. It was dynamic. Their pass rush was legitimate.
Or that linebacking room in general, that front 7 in general.
Yeah, but Iheanachor held his own. He did a damn good job in that game.
Yes, he did.
So it goes to show, like, yes, the upside is there. The upside, I never denied the upside. The upside is for sure there. He has a lot of traits to like. He's got a big frame. He's athletic. He's actually quite fast for his size, too. He ran a 4.9 140. And
yeah.
He's a strong guy for his size, too.
Yeah, it seems like he's coming to the sport very naturally. And now this makes you wonder, where are they going to put Troy Fautanu? When discussing Max Iheanachor and his immediate impact, McCarthy and Khan did mention that they have options in regards to where Fautanu is going to go. So they were asked regarding where's Iheanachor going to go. Like, we're going to start him at tackle. And then regarding Fautanu and where he would go, like we got options. So it seems like they might be more willing to move Fautanu to guard if they have to. But that's worst case scenario, which should not happen because Fautanu is not a guard. There were concerns coming out of Washington if he should be a guard. He's not a guard. He has proven he can be a goddamn good tackle.
Yes.
He had a good season last year, which makes me question why would you move him from right tackle when he's finally finding a good spot there. But they do have an insurance plan because they can move him to left because that's where he played all his reps at Washington. The only concern is he has never protected the non-blindside spot. That's a different responsibility. But can Fautanu do it? I think so because he is athletic enough. He is a good anchor, and he had a good season staying healthy all last year.
Besides, the pedigree that he brings, I mean, he was drafted in the first round for a reason, and he was supposed to go a lot sooner than the pick that the Steelers got him at pick 20.
Right.
So the pedigree, he's got it. Like, he's got the tangibles, and he's got the ability to do so. It's a different responsibility, but based off his pedigree, I expect him to do it. And just based off the options, because of Iheanachor primarily being right tackle, I would not move him over to left, and I would not let him learn that side or that position based off his experience playing the sport of football. What, 5 years you said?
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. You keep him at right tackle. Just based off the options, because Fautanu has that experience, you move him over to left, and you keep him there.
Right. Let's get into some of these super chats. Billy Maher with a 199 says, Dallas giving Philly the 25th is diabolical. I don't know why Jerry Jones would try to better or help better Philly. Why would they do that? Fuck Dallas, I guess.
I don't understand.
Icon I don't know how to put lemonade. I'll just call you lemonade.
I can't.
With a
no,
two.
no, I see it. I can't make lemonade.
Oh, I see what. Okay, I see what you're saying. Not. He says not even sweating lemon. Bernard fits the slot. He does. He does. Lemon would have fit it too.
Which I'm going to be
But I
real with
think-
you guys. When it came to the 21st pick with Iheanachor, I would have preferred wide receiver there, like an Omar Cooper at the time. But that was before Omar Khan did get aggressive in getting Bernard.
Sure.
So it kind of. What's
Worked
the word
out.
I'm looking
It
for?
worked
Yes,
out.
basically.
It worked out. Mason with a 2 says, I like the first 2 picks. After that, yeah. Yeah, let's get any further. Final take here on Max Iheanachor. You know, I think the Steelers having 2 franchise tackles is the goal here. Fatanu at left and Iheanachor now at right. I think that could absolutely pan out. And if that's the case, that is 2 really good first round worthy tackles on each side. I mean, we tried that with Fatanu and Broderick. Broderick hasn't panned out. The injury didn't help, but even still, injury or not, I don't know if they're going to pick up his 5th-year option. Thus, tackles would have been in need eventually. I didn't think it was that pressing because I thought Dylan Cook did a well enough job to get a starting spot, at least for this year. But clearly, the Steelers want a future long-term plan. I'm looking at Broderick officially being labeled as a bust, and Dylan Cook is probably the swing guy. I would think Iheanachor is going to start day 1.
I would certainly hope so. I mean, like we said, he's still a project. Like, the upside is there, but he's still a project. He still needs work when it comes to his technique, especially in pass protection in some ways, and, of course, his hand placement.
Well, he's a project, but not as much as what Broderick was.
Not as much. You're right about that.
So I would put him at right tackle immediately and then put Fatanu at left. I would make that the day 1 starting tackle duos.
Unless Broderick's progression from the setback turns out better than expected, or Dylan Cook has to fill in for a little bit because of the experience factor.
Sure.
Maybe they don't want to rush Iheanachor right out the gate. That might be different now with McCarthy as a head coach because Tomlin's no longer here. Tomlin would absolutely not rush Iheanachor out there. Under McCarthy, that might be a different story.
I think that is going to be a different story. I question adding another project to the line, not as much as Broderick, but still a project. I do question moving Fatanu over after he's done so well at right. Yeah, he had a poor finish to the Texans, but the whole team had a poor finish. Happens every fucking year. Fatanu had a great year. He had a really good second year.
And he stayed healthy, man. He was durable, and he knocked it out of the park.
So it makes me wonder why you're moving him over. But again, he does have that experience there. So the Steelers are really hoping that their options, what Omar Khan is mentioning, works out. I hope it pans out.
And under a new offensive line coach, I can only hope so because there's no way it can be worse under James Campen than it was under Meyer.
Yeah, Pat Meyer.
Or
James Campen and Germie Evans, Hall of Famer.
Yeah, seriously, man.
As the assistant. So the O-line's got some coaches to work with, and they got a lot of pedigree there. But what you're looking at as an offensive line is guys under all rookie contracts right now, and it's incredibly young.
Which is exactly what you want.
You can't hate that. Second round. We at this point, we're like, okay, we need guard or mostly receiver. Going into this draft, I know we didn't have a guard, left guard, but I kept saying receiver's the biggest need. What happened in round 1 happened, but day 2, you're like, you know what? We got to go get a receiver. Whether we wait somehow at 53, preferably we get aggressive and trade up because we don't need 11 more picks at the time. That's what the Steelers did.
And thankfully they did. So what they did was they traded up with the Indianapolis Colts for pick number 47. So the Steelers traded away pick 53, 135, which was their second 4th rounder, which was a comp pick, and pick 237, which was their later 7th rounder to the Colts for pick 47 and pick 249. So they swapped 7s, traded away a comp 4th, but swapped 2nd rounders and traded up to pick 47 to be aggressive and select a wide receiver in Germie Bernard out of Alabama.
Which is a great receiver. Bernard, who said it in the chat? Someone put it in the super chat. He fits the slot. I can't make lemonade. He said it. He fits the slot perfectly.
Yes, he does.
But not only does he fit the slot perfectly, he has as much slot reps as he does outside reps. This guy has versatility all along the line of scrimmage, wherever you want to put him. Inside, outside, you want to put him, opposite DK, you want to put him in between DK and Pittman. You want to put Pittman in the slot as that big body guy with Bernard capable of working outside. they have ways of mix matching these receiver duos that it makes me feel a lot better about the Iheanachor selection that we went and got someone that is as much of a playmaker as Bernard is.
Yes, it made it more digestible. That was the word I was trying to come up with earlier. It made it more digestible, and trading up to get a guy like Bernard was a player that you absolutely trade up and acquire.
Yeah, because you're getting someone that has NFL speed, he has yak ability, he's tough to bring down, and he finds soft spots in coverage, and he is a route runner.
And a low drop rate, man. Does not drop the ball. He had one drop off 102 targets last season.
That's it. And he had 7 touchdowns last year with Ty Simpson throwing him the football. The now Los Angeles Ram.
Yeah, 13th overall pick. I didn't expect that.
Good for them. But
Sure.
but it's cool because it's an interesting journey for Bernard, man. He started at Michigan State, then finally transferred to Washington. Finally found his footing his last 2 years at Alabama. Unfortunately, he had to deal with quarterbacks like Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson, but still found enough production and is still enough of a playmaker at 22 years old, 6'1", 206. Again, the versatility, the route running capabilities. This guy's a playmaker at receiver we really needed. I think he's going to fit just fine. Can he be a number 1 down the road? I think he has the potential. But I think he has a really good ceiling. I think he'll fit in perfectly, and he complements the 2 bigger receivers perfectly. That's the guy we need to get. Best receiver left on the board. You had to get aggressive. Receiver was still a need. Go get your guy, and they did.
And Bernard's a guy that they absolutely needed in the slot. Not a guy like a Denzel Boston, who, funny enough, went to the Browns of all teams. But Bernard, he fits the mold of a slot wide receiver to a T to start off initially. As a rookie, I think that's a great place for him to start, especially with his route running capabilities, because that's what the Steelers were missing. They were missing a route technician. They were missing a separator and a playmaker overall.
Yeah.
And a guy that you can develop and work with and build to be a true weapon at wide receiver down the road. And he's somebody that was always reliable. Despite the quarterbacks that he dealt with in Milroe and Simpson, he was always reliable, and he was constantly playing on the field. The guy hardly got off the football.
Right.
The guy rarely missed a snap, and he was a consistent starter for Alabama. This guy showcased some true upside and potential, and I'm glad that the Steelers were able to trade up and acquire him and be aggressive and make up for missing out on Lemon and getting a guy like Bernard.
Right. Shout out to John or Jonah Morton with a 5 says, let's breathe easy. We didn't get Gronk as our quarterback. Omar Cooper grabbed half the Iowa team. Ben Skoranek, a wide receiver, was the first guy on the outs. Johnson, a running back, too. Rico's running back, too.
Yeah, Rico's running back, too. Johnson,
At this point, I don't know if Johnson's running back 3.
Johnson's going to have a battle, dude. He's going to have a battle.
Yes, he is. But I love the Bernard selection, man. You know, once night 1 was over, that's the number 1 receiver I wanted. I was like, go get Bernard. I didn't think Boston was a great fit, and yeah, he's a Brown. The Browns got Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, which sucks because Concepcion has a high ceiling if he can work on the drops.
Yes.
But he's an explosive guy that can get up the field. Boston is the perfect guy that's going to complement that because Casey is that route runner that can get open and make plays, while Boston's the guy that's going to take attention away because of his size, his deep threat ability, and how he can high point the football. Boston would have been just a redundant selection because we already have that in Pittman and DK. We wanted Bernard, and I'm glad the Steelers got Bernard. This is easily my favorite pick of this mock.
Yep,
this draft.
I'm going to say this right now. Bernard is my favorite selection that the Steelers did.
Now we get into the 76 overall pick.
Yeah, man.
Via Dallas. We got this guy from Trading Pickens. It could work out. It could absolutely work out, but it could also not work out. This is literally every single pick in any draft. It's a 50-50 deal. You gamble, especially in the 3rd round, especially at the quarterback position.
Listen, man. Too rich for me in the 3rd round. If they wanted to wait for him, which I firmly believe if they were to wait on him, they could have taken him in, say, the 5th round. But they opted to take him in 76. Too rich for me. But they took Drew Allar, quarterback out of Penn State. Again, too rich to take a 76.
Let me put it this way. I'm going to be as level-headed as I can because I think I'm a smart person. I think Drew Allar has a high ceiling. When you look at this quarterback class, it fucking sucks. But when you look at everyone outside of Mendoza, who has the highest ceiling out of any of those quarterbacks, I think it's Allar. I think it is. Or Allar, however you say his last name. Allar?
Allar.
I've been saying Allar like 2 years now.
Drew Allar.
I think Allar has a high ceiling.
Gotta get used to these last names.
But the problem is he wasn't a good college quarterback. He wasn't.
Run the ball!
He wasn't. Now, that might have been the James Franklin situation because James Franklin, he's a great recruiter. He's like Mike Tomlin. He's a great recruiter. He does enough to get by. But when it comes to winning in big games and stepping up when it matters the most, Franklin can't do it. And I guess that was enough contagious to get to Allar as well because he shit the bed against great teams in top games. He was not a good college quarterback. He often crumbled in the clutch. He crumbled against good teams. He really lacks in the fundamentals. Like, yes, he has the prototypical arm. He has the size. He has the NFL build you want. He has the NFL arm you want. That's great. You know how many awful quarterbacks have great arms and great builds? So many. They've come and gone so many times. Allar has that. But he doesn't have the fundamentals down, which is why McCarthy selected him. Because it's no shock to me that McCarthy likes Drew Allar. Not just McCarthy, but Tom Arth, because Tom Arth goes way back with Allar because he's the one that recruited him when Tom Arth was the head coach at Akron. So they had to bring that back. Tom Arth is our quarterback coach. They have that connection. Mike McCarthy had a real good conversation with him at the combine. So you knew right then and there Mike McCarthy liked him.
And enough to bring him in for a top 30 visit.
So right then and there, you like, the odds of him being a Steeler is very high. He was a 5th-round quarterback to me. I would have been more comfortable and more okay with taking him in the 4th or 5th round. And I know everyone's saying, well, would he have been there? He wouldn't have been there. Maybe he would have. Maybe he wouldn't have. We don't know. The Steelers obviously didn't want to take that risk. They prioritized this position over guard and took him at 76 with the pick we got for Pickens. Can McCarthy help Allar in a lot of his fundamentals? Can he help him with his accuracy? Can he help him in the mental aspect? It's like the biggest problem with Allar is he can't comprehend the mental aspect of the football game. He can't comprehend the mental aspect of working as a pocket quarterback. He can't read a defense. He gets scared in the pocket. He's very inaccurate. He's not a good college quarterback. That doesn't mean he can't be a good NFL quarterback. It's just going to take a lot of time because he is a project. Can McCarthy be the quarterback whisperer that he promised Art Rooney II in the Steelers organization, which got him the job? Because Mike McCarthy, like, he's had, so if you want to argue, a Hall of Fame head coaching career, if you want to argue. The last thing he has is either getting the Steelers a championship or getting the Steelers a quarterback because that's what he promised to the organization. Can he do it? I have my doubts, but right here is Exhibit A. He finally got his quarterback, his first quarterback selected since being Steelers head coach.
Yeah, his first year, and he did not wait.
Can he help Drew Allar?
Considering that he's now a Steeler, listen, man, like, I can only hope. Here's the thing about Allar, right? We know he's got the frame. We know he's got the arm talent. We know he's got the potential. But the inconsistencies just outweigh so much when it comes to Allar.
Which is why, in your opinion, in my opinion, and I agree with you, 76 was too rich. I would have even taken him at 121 if you really wanted to, because at that point, you would have addressed other needs before quarterback, because quarterback, this draft class, it's not a good class. Steelers just wanted to take him right then and there.
Well, McCarthy did. I firmly believe McCarthy had a big say in wanting to get this guy.
Yeah. I think he likes a lot of what Allar brings to the table, and so does Tom Arth. Tom Arth had glowing things to say about him. Like, they go way back from the recruitment days. So thus, Allar is the quarterback. Where will he be this year? Could he be the 2? Could he be the 3? We don't know, because the quarterback room right now is Will Howard, Drew Allar, and Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph, his days are numbered. He could be gone this year. He could be gone after this year. All I know is that Mason Rudolph won't be a Steeler this time next year. That's all I know. What's Aaron Rodgers' situation? I don't know. I don't fucking care. Tell him to kick rocks.
And no, this selection of Allar does not affect the Steelers' desire for Aaron Rodgers.
No,
McCarthy's already made that known.
They're still holding.
They still want A-Rod back.
Right.
They're still trying to recruit him to come back for 2026. We'll see whenever that happens, probably by middle of May.
Right.
Because that's when OTA start, I believe. Allar, when it comes to him, like, if he showed a bit of more progression year after year at Penn State, I think I would have accepted this a bit more. But the thing with him is he was basically the same quarterback for 3 seasons. Barely showed any progression, barely showed any growth.
And just like James Franklin, he couldn't step up and beat good teams. And listen, that might be a James Franklin thing because James Franklin has not developed any good quarterbacks coming out of Penn State ever. Ever. My fear with Drew Allar is he's going to end up just like Christian Hackenberg, another Penn State alum that did jack shit in the NFL. That is my fear with Drew Allar.
My comp to him is Brock Osweiler. That's my comp to Drew Allar. I hope he turns out much better than Brock Osweiler, of course, considering that he is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. But just seeing his progression, and I try with Allar, I did. He was one of those guys I was looking at, I'm like,
I just didn't see it.
I tried to be patient, but just seeing the game, seeing the tape, I'm like, it's the same quarterback. Like, there's very little growth. If he showed some significant growth, just a little bit, this would be more digestible. But 76 is too rich.
Way too rich.
My preference would have been 5th. If he was there in the 5th or the Steelers opted to take him in the 5th, fine, whatever.
Because it's a 5th round, and again, you take positions beforehand, and then you get him at a grade that I think is more reasonable. Would he have been there? We don't know. And clearly, Steelers doesn't want to take that risk, and they do see him as a potential guy for their team in the future.
I just think it's too high for the Steelers to select him at 76. We essentially traded away George Pickens for Drew Allar.
And it could work out, it could not. I don't like this pick. I'm going to be 100% blunt if you guys couldn't tell. I don't like this pick. But I will support him because he's a Steeler, and if he succeeds, the team succeeds. And I do believe he does have a high ceiling. Can McCarthy get that out of him? I don't know. Do I trust him? No, I don't. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Because if he turns out and McCarthy gets Allar to the level he needs to, then guess what? This is looking like a hell of a pick, and he might be the future. But I'm not going to give him those grades yet. Not until I see what he can do on the football field. Same thing with Will Howard. I just can't give him that label yet because we haven't seen him play a single NFL snap yet. But I will say this. Drew Allar and Will Howard in the quarterback room is a little interesting because now you officially have 2 young new quarterbacks in your room that haven't played a single snap yet. You don't know what to expect. It could be good. It could be really bad. But it's the excitement factor of it. It's the unknown. The unknown might be scary, but to me, it's always exciting because you just never know.
That's fair.
And that's what we have with this quarterback room is Will Howard and Drew Allar in our quarterback room. 2 young guys, 2 hungry young guys that will compete for reps this year. And Lord knows what the future holds. That I do like. Like, we were always going to draft a quarterback. We knew that. They brought in 4 of them. We always knew they were going to draft a quarterback. It's just a matter of when and what was the right time and the more reasonable spot. To me, it would have been day 3, as early as the 5th round. I would have been okay with the 4th. They took one here with the pick we got from Pickens. They were always going to get a quarterback. They reached here, in my opinion, but now it adds another quarterback. McCarthy likes him. Arth likes him. We'll see if those two together can fix a lot of Allar's issues.
Yeah, but just like how I carry myself with this football team almost every season, my expectations are going to be very low.
Sure.
But I don't mean that in a way of like, I want him to fail. I don't want Allar to fail. I don't. This guy is representing this football team. This guy is representing the logo.
And at some point, he might be the starting quarterback. And I always say, no matter how ass of a quarterback you might be, if you're slinging the football for my team, I support you because if you succeed, the team succeeds, and we're all happy. So Allar has my full support. We'll see how he turns out. I don't think this is going to be an overnight thing. I don't think it's going to be a year 1, not even a year 2 thing, because there is a lot to work with.
Yeah.
So
he's a big.
And does this take away quarterback for next year? I don't think so. Then if that's the case, you're looking at 3 straight years where you're taking a quarterback. So for those people that want them to just take quarterback to see if one lands, there you go. It seems like that's what Omar's doing. That's what Mike McCarthy's now doing.
We'll see what goes down. We'll see what happens. But Allar, he's a project. He is somebody that you're going to have to be extremely patient with. In my opinion, he's the biggest quarterback project in this quarterback class. Coming in and even coming out.
But at the same time, he does have a high ceiling. I cannot deny that. I always believe that. It's just, it's going to take a legitimate guru and a legitimate coach to get the best out of him. I don't know if McCarthy can do it. We'll see.
But if he does,
I hope he does. Don't get me wrong. I hope he does.
If he does, then I want to be genuinely surprised and happy for Allar. I'm not going to get my expectations high just because he's a Steeler. I have my doubts about his capabilities. I have my doubts about McCarthy's developmental skills at quarterback, despite his resume. But I'm willing to give it a shot. I have no choice but to. I can only hope for the best.
But Drew Allar is a Steeler, and he will be competing with Will Howard in some form of capacity this year. It should be interesting. But Drew Allar from Penn State is a Pittsburgh Steeler. So for those that wanted him, there you go. For those that didn't, here we go. And there you get. We were going to get a quarterback anyway, so they took one here. That scared me a little bit because there were players on the board that I would have 100% taken over Allar. They didn't. Some of those guys were taking off the board. I guess it still worked out because at 85, they went corner, a corner I do like, and is initially for defensive depth. Before we get into Daylen Everette, I noticed there were a lot of super chats. I do want to shout them out and read them here. Where's the last one we fell off with? Let's say...
we got Mason right here.
Yeah, Mason with a 2 says, Drew Allar is dick cheese in the clutch.
Jesus.
Yeah, he has not a single clutch gene in his bone. We know several Penn State fans. They tell us the same thing. I've watched many Penn State games. I've seen the same thing.
Yeah.
Mystic Game with 499 say, for the people saying Allar is Kenny Pickett 2.0 are insane. Allar has way better physical tools, plus it was a third instead of a first. That I do agree with.
Allar is actually willing to throw the football, and he has a rocket of an arm. Yeah. Kenny had a noodle arm.
And I'll say one more thing here about him being selected in the third. It's a little more digestible, just a teeny bit, because they had 2 other third-round picks. Like, if they only had 1 and that was it, and they took that over other positions and didn't address them until day 3, I would have been very upset. But the fact they were still able to address other positions with the extra third-rounders, it worked out.
No, I get that. I guess that's a fun way to look at it. It's just, I was just not a fan of this quarterback class whatsoever.
Me neither.
You guys already know my preference. I'm not gonna sound like a broken record here.
Mason with a 5 says, if they got him at the top of the 4th, I'd be okay with the pick, not at 76. Me too.
Basically my preference, yes.
Me too, absolutely. D-Meads with a 499 says, I'm fine with the Allar pick. If he was going to Tomlin's team, I'd hate it. We're going to McCarthy's team with this supporting cast. It's fine with me. I do gotta say, like, I like this coaching staff under McCarthy a lot better than I did with Tomlin's coaching staff the past several years. I think we upgraded at DC. I like Angelico's history with what he's done as a tight end coach, and most recently with the Vikings with Kevin O'Connell. A lot of our position coaches are experienced. Clearly, there's a McCarthy connection, which is probably going to be a good thing. So he's in with a very, very good coaching staff. That is for sure. I do agree on that. Daylen Everette, 85th overall from Georgia, cornerback. I really contemplated putting him in our last mock. Right before the draft, obviously. We ultimately didn't. We went Stukes, trading Stukes. He went a lot earlier than I anticipated. But I still like Daylen Everette because it doesn't surprise me the Steelers went back to the Georgia Bulldog camp because they love those guys. They're high pedigree players. I think Everette has the build they like. You look at NFL corners that they have brought in recently, not just via free agency, but the draft as well. They like their stocky guys. They like their bigger, lengthier corners. That checks the box already for Daylen Everette when it comes to the Steelers, is he has that size. He has the speed to match any corner down the field. He has the sticky coverage to match anyone down the field. He is very willing in the run game. He checks all that boxes. The great part about it is he is not going to start day 1. They could bounce him inside if they wanted to. I'm still looking at that as Ramsey or potentially Asante Samuel Jr., but I'm looking at Everette to be special teams initially, rotational depth and sub packages, because Patrick Graham has always said, like, there's not really, like, obviously there's starters, but he's always trying to find ways to bring his depth onto the defense.
Yeah, he's trying to find roles. He's trying to find opportunities to get them involved. And I can see that happening for sure with a guy like Everette, just especially with where he comes from. I mean, he comes from Georgia. He comes from a top school. He's somebody that has played 4 years at Georgia, starting 3 years and he played in 55 games, starting 41 of those.
Right.
He accumulated 5 interceptions, 3 of them coming in 2024, and 19 pass breakups, with 10 coming to them last season in 2025. And when it came to the big games, the postseason games for college football, Everett is one of those guys that consistently came up in those games. He snagged interceptions in back-to-back SEC championship games that Georgia won in back-to-back years, including being named the 2024 SEC championship MVP, where he picked off Quinn Ewers twice in that game.
Funny.
Yes.
Steelers just love players attacking Quinn Ewers, don't they? Jack Sawyer last year, now Everett. Everett's going to be a very good backup, in my opinion. He has the potential to start. It won't be immediately, it won't be this year, unless, of course, injury, because you always have that injury concern with Jamel Dean, because he's never really finished a full season. But Jamel Dean's a great corner. He's going to be a great corner, too, after being a cornerback one for multiple teams, mostly the Bucks. His depth is going to be a good spot. It's going to allow him to get his feet wet. It's not going to allow him to be forced into a situation too early. And I think he still's got way to grow where, you know what, he could be an eventual lockdown guy once Dean days are over, opposite JPJ. That's potential there. Otherwise, I think initially he'll be really good depth. We needed extra depth at the cornerback spot. Corey Trice can't stay healthy. Asante Samuel, they might try him in the slot. He's also only on a 1-year prove-it deal, so that's never guaranteed. At least you got someone that you know you can trust, hopefully, on the outside or on the perimeter, that's going to be here for the next couple of years with that rookie contract, and someone you can develop in-house.
And that's the idea. It's, he's a young guy. He's got a great frame. Blazer at that. He's a speedster, 4.38 at the combine, and then out versatility. He's a guy that if you want him to work outside, he can. He primarily did that in his time at Georgia, but I feel like he can also play inside if he needs to, especially with his tackling and run-stopping capabilities, which I feel like is one of his better traits. And if you want him to work in the nickel to help aid in the run defense right there, I feel like that'd be a good role for him to kind of start off in rotations, sub-packages, and use that run-stopping and tackling capabilities in special teams, importantly.
Yeah, let him work down the line, and then let's see what he can do.
But he's somebody that came from a big school. He went up against good competition, stepped up in the big games, the postseason, like I mentioned. And for him to start off as depth, that's a good starting point for a guy like Everett.
Now, he's not going to be a ball hawk, so don't expect like 6 interceptions from this guy. He's locked down. Like he's all about, getting up in the press coverage and following his guys and knocking them off their routes, right? That's where his strengths are. He's not going to be a ball hawk. He's just going to be a lockdown guy. But for a depth piece, I like him there at 85. Mason with a 2 says nickel corner special teams. In the third, he better fucking ball. Well, see, that was another thing where at 85, I was expecting guard.
After taking quarterback, yeah.
I was really expecting guard because I'm like, we need a guard. We still need a guard. We're not moving Fatano to guard, are we? We're not. But that was my fear initially, watching it live. I'm like, we haven't taken a guard yet. We're taking all these positions over guard. What are we doing?
And we said it while we were live. It's like we like Everett. We like the player. We like the upside. We like adding another body to the secondary because you can never have too many there.
But I wouldn't have taken him over a guard.
Our preference was guard. That was our preference. We would have preferred, because Pregnon was there at 85 up until he went to the Jags at I think 88.
Right.
Our preference was guard, but they went Everett. That was until they did finally select a guard with their third round selection.
Yes. I'm going to say I think they lucked out here at guard, but ultimately it did work out because they eventually finally got their guard. They had 99 remaining for the night. They said, fuck that. We're going to trade up with 96 with the Seahawks because Seahawks and John Snyder have been talking about trading back. They hadn't traded back all draft. 96 was a good spot. Steelers, all they did was send, I believe, 99 and 216, which was a 6-rounder.
That's it.
They trade up 3 spots and got Gennings Dunker, offensive lineman out of Iowa. So they go Iowa again. They went Iowa twice last year. It wouldn't be the last time they took Iowa in this draft class either.
No.
They got Jennings Dunker. He played exclusively right tackle his last 3 years at Iowa. But because of his short arm length at 33.5 inch, he's going to be moving to guard. He was always projected to move inside anyway, which is why, yeah, you might look at it as another guy you're moving out of position or another guy you're moving to a spot that's not really a natural there. The thing is, he was always going to move to inside anyway. He was always projected to be a guard, and I think he has the frame, the body, the work ethic, the footwork, the violent hands to be a very great guard for the Steelers. To get him at 96 is great value. I didn't think he'd be there, and he was literally the only guard left that was available that was worthy of a day 2 selection. They got him at the end of day 2.
Yeah, and they weren't waiting. They weren't going to risk getting him at 99, so they made the trade up. They pulled another aggressive move for night 2 and got a guy like Dunker. And, well, first of all, when you look at him, I mean, he kind of fits the look of a Pittsburgh Steeler, not just of his build, but of that badass mullet that he has on his head.
If the Steelers aren't selling, like, caps or wigs, they are absolutely having a market malpractice.
Yeah.
Because I will fucking buy one.
I'd probably buy one,
I
too.
don't know if you can tell. I'm trying to grow it at.
I
I don't have good genetics, but I'm hoping maybe.
You got to be patient with it.
I know.
You got to be very patient with it. But Dunker, like, yes, he's got a great mullet, but he's got a great look, and he's got a great play style that just fits of what you want in a Steelers guard. He's got the size, he's got the frame at 6'5", 319 pounds, 22 years old, is very capable when going up against bull rushers and pass protection, but his run blocking is his best trait. Of great footwork, and he's got a mean streak as a run blocker. He's got such brute force up against run defenders.
Now, for those asking, has he ever played guard? Briefly. His only time ever at guard was his freshman year in 2022, where he saw 55 reps at left guard and 80 reps at right guard. That's it. The rest of his 3 years at Iowa, where he has really been a staple for being one of the top offensive linemen or offensive lines in the nation. They won the Joe Moore Award for the top line in the nation last year.
He was a part of that.
Along with helping Caleb Johnson years back and being one of the more effective rushing offenses in college football. So there you go. But for all that, he was a right tackle. He was always going to move to guard. You move him to left guard, and I think he's going to make for one hell of a pro. I think he's going to make for a great guard. He's just a mean dude. He has this aggressive nature to him. He finishes blocks with just this nastiness to him. He looks and plays like a Steeler. He can get to the second level. He's got good athleticism to him. He's strong as hell.
Mm-hmm.
This guy throws hay bales for fun. He's a farmer. He's a farmer's boy.
That he is.
I think this guy's going to be one hell of a guard for us. Now, yes, because I see a couple super chats in the chat. I don't know why Pregnon fell. I Can't Make Lemonade with 2 says, do we know what happened to Pregnon? Slipped hard. I don't know why. The only thing I could bring up, which Mason brings up in the chat, is Pregnon was my guy, but he's 25, so he got skipped. That could have been a reason, because you look at certain players with certain positions in their age, you're like, do we really want to take a gamble on this guy so early because we might get one contract out of him? A guy like Keontae Scott, 25 years old, hell of a corner, but probably just one contract guy, which is why he fell to, I think, the 4th round.
Yeah.
Pregnon, you can get 2 contracts out of him, which is why I was pressing hard to go Pregnon before Allar, before Everette, and I would have preferred Pregnon over Dunker, but I still like Dunker enough that he's going to be a good guard.
I think the selection of Pregnon going to Jacksonville, I think that definitely had an influence on the Steelers wanting to trade up because you couldn't risk it.
No.
I mean, taking other positions ahead of guard was a bit of a head scratcher. Again, some head scratching moments with the Steelers in this draft.
Like I definitely wouldn't have taken quarterback or corner before guard.
I would prefer to go guard first before any of those other positions. But you have to give him credit for trading up and filling the position and getting a guy like Dunker who just fits nicely. I feel like him with the Steelers and just what they're looking for, especially when it comes to running the football, it's just a perfect fit for Dunker.
Yeah. I really like Dunker a lot, and I think he's going to be a hell of a pro for us. He's going to be fitting right there at left guard. The question is, obviously he hasn't played there very briefly in 2022. Is he going to start day 1, especially being like a late day 2 pick? I say make him the day 1 starter. Your vision for the line is, I would imagine, Troy Futanu at left tackle. You have Jennings Dunker at left guard. Zach Frazier's already a stud at center. Mason McCormick's already a stud at right guard. And Max Iheanachor at right tackle. If I'm McCarthy, if I'm the coaching staff, they are my starting line day 1, week 1, whoever the hell we're facing. I'm not waiting. Like that's your long-term vision. They're all on rookie contracts. They're all incredibly young. make that your starting line immediately. Like, yeah, he'll probably compete with like Spencer Anderson or Brock Hoffman, but I'm already looking at Dunker to be the day one starting a guard. Like, you get an immediate look at what your future line is going to be for whoever the hell the quarterback's going to be for the future. Whether that's a guy panning out this year or you guys getting a guard or a quarterback most likely next year in 2027 in DC.
Yeah.
Like, you get an immediate look at that line. You get that camaraderie going immediately. That's what I would do. Because then, I mean, you look at that on paper. That's looking like if everything pans out, you ain't got to worry about offensive line for at least 5-6 years. Because Iheanachor is on a 4, maybe 5-year deal, depending on how he pans out in the 5th-year option. Dunker's here for 4 years. You got Frazier who's going to be getting extended. I would imagine McCormick's going to get extended, but that's not going to be this offseason, probably next.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Fatanu's probably going to get extended. He's probably going to get his 5th-year option. You ain't got to worry about offensive line.
No, you don't. And that's the vision. That's the idea, right?
Like, holy shit. I thought this 2 years ago when we got Fatanu, McCormick, and Frazier in the same class. I was like, maybe Broderick will turn out and we'll be fine. Broderick hasn't turned out. We had to take another tackle. We finally fixed guard here. Now, what I thought 2 years ago comes back here. We don't got to worry about guard for at least 5 years.
No, you don't.
We don't got to worry about O-line in general for at least 5 years.
No, you don't.
As long as everything pans out. Like, this O-line has so much potential. So if I have to give Omar Khan one thing, I do question like the way he went about it, but I think it could ultimately turn out. And the way this line's looking, I do got to give Omar Khan the sense that O-line is looking very vicious for the future.
I mean, that's their sole focus, right? Hence why they've taken basically the trenches in the first round ever since Omar Khan has taken over, ever since Andy Weidel has really come along as our assistant general manager. That is their idea. That's their emphasis. That's what they want to focus. And it makes sense. It does. Because you need strong trenches. If you don't have strong trenches, you're not really going to pan out well in the NFL. You're not. That's their vision. That's their idea. I can understand it. I do. And believe me, you know me and Dan, we've been preaching about O-line. Like, you got to fix the O-line. The O-line's got to be young. We were preaching about that when we had garbage freaking linemen like Dan Moore, Chuck Secor, and freaking Kendrick Green, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't good. Mason Cole. Like, the line for years back then was freaking terrible. It was so bad. And they put so much of a priority into the offensive line. And that's what they continue to do. And I can understand that and I can appreciate that. And that is the idea. And if that's the vision, you get that going. You get it going with Max at right tackle and Dunker at left guard. That's your idea. That's your vision. If that's your priority, you get it going.
That could be the future. If everything pans out, that could be the future. We'll see how it all pans out. But if I'm the coaching staff, if I'm the Steelers, I'm not wasting no time. Like, I'm making that the immediate situation now. Like, I'm not even trying to. Like, yeah, you can try to put Dylan Cook up there or Hoffman up there, but you already know what your vision is. That's why you took these guys in the past draft classes. That's why you took a tackle and a guard in this draft class to finally fix that position long term. Like, you already know you got your 3 studs there from center to right tackle. You have to move your right tackle to left, but you already knew the other positions you had to address. He did. I'm hoping this line turns out because at that point, yeah, I mean, you're looking at. I mean, we call it the steel curtain, right? The Steelers defense from the 70s. You call it the steel wall, the Great Wall of Steel or something. The Great Wall of Pittsburgh, the steel wall, however you want to call it. The Iron Curtain or something.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever name you want to come up with it. That's the potential of this line. I'll give them that. Now we get into day 3. It gets interesting here. In the 4th round, this could have gone anywhere. But they decided to go Kaden Wetjen, return specialist out of Iowa at 121.
Was a bit surprising. Because, again, I expected a return specialist to be taken sometime into draft. 4th round was a lot earlier than I anticipated. However, they got a damn good return specialist with this selection in Kaden Wetjen. You look at his college production, you look at the pedigree and the resume that he brings to the table, and you look at the Steelers special teams history dating back since, let's say, 2017. It's not hard to understand why they took a return specialist in Kaden Wetjen as early as they did.
Let's put it this way, okay? I do think this was a bit of a reach. I think they could have waited, but I understand the Steelers' reasoning of going to get him because we haven't had a legitimate return specialist that can do both jobs effectively for a long time. We haven't. It's been a revolving door, and there's been mishaps, and there hasn't been much success. The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers got a kick return touchdown was Week 17, New Year's Eve of the 2017 season versus the Cleveland Browns. Guess who returned that? It was a rookie, Juju Smith-Schuster. That was 9 years ago. Almost. Our last punt return touchdown was Week 8 of the 2024 season versus the Giants with Calvin Austin, who's now a Giant, funny enough. Before that return touchdown by Calvin, the last punt return touchdown we had was Week 14 of the 2019 season versus the Arizona Cardinals. That was a rookie, Deontay Johnson. And yeah, I get we're not going to get a return touchdown every single year. I understand that, especially with the league changing rules, and now they're finally trying to get a permanent spot there. I get it. But the ability of getting the team in good field position or getting consistent returns or from flipping the field is non-existent in the return specialist ability. The Steelers averaged 24.2 yards per kick return last season, which ranked 28th in the league last year. For context, the best was surprisingly the New York Jets at 29.9 yards per kick return.
Damn near 30 yards per kick return.
The year before that, the Steelers ranked dead last at 23 yards per kick return.
In 2024, if you guys remember, because the new kickoff rules came into place, and the Steelers opted to bring in Cordell Patterson,
who was slower than thick peanut butter.
And didn't pan out, and hence why we were dead last in kick return yardage.
And the Steelers, in terms of punt return, they averaged 8.8 yards per punt return last year, which was 21st ranked in the league. For context, the Patriots were ranked first with 17.8. Damn near doubling it. Field position matters. Flipping the field matters. Was it a bit of a reach? Was it a bit early for Wetjen? Yes. Yes, it was. But I understand their reasoning because we needed a playmaker there. Wetjen is just an explosive guy. There's a reason he broke NCAA Division I records and Iowa school records. They double dip at Iowa. Again, for a second straight year, they love to double dip.
They love their Hawkeyes, man.
They love their Hawkeyes. They love double dipping in schools. I could be here all night telling you how many times they double dipped at each school from each draft class the last 10 years. It's just a thing that they always do. But they got a playmaker, an electric, explosive return specialist in Kaden Wetjen. What was 6 return touchdowns
at Iowa?
Holy shit.
That is a school record. He broke that last year. That is a school record that he owns.
How many punt returns did he have last year?
Well, in total, in his 3 years at Iowa, he returned 56 kicks for 1,538 yards, which is an average of 27.5, and 2 kick return touchdowns to pair with 54 returning punts for 954 yards, an average of 17.7. But last year, he had an average of 26.8 yards per return, which is an NCAA Division I record, and 4 punt return touchdowns, but 3 of them coming in 2025.
Wow.
So again, 6 return touchdowns at Iowa, which is a school record. And Wetjen became the first 2-time winner of both the Jet Award and Rogers Dwight Award, both that are rewarded to the top return specialist of the year. Wetjen is one of the best return specialists to come out of college in recent memory.
Yes. And with a new special teams coordinator in Danny Crossman, they needed a new return specialist, because who was our return specialist? It wasn't Warren. It definitely wasn't Caleb Johnson. Who are you putting back there? You're not putting Roman back there. You needed someone electric. They got that in Wetjen. I get why they did it. Was it early? Could they have waited? I think so. But I understand why they did it.
It definitely caught me off by surprise, but Wetjen is one of those guys that I was a fan of, and that I know for damn sure that when it comes to him, I'm very confident in his abilities of being a very good return specialist in the NFL, especially for us.
The thing
now
is,
that he's a Steeler.
The thing is, when you look at it from just a nature's look, a return specialist in the 4th round seems a little rich.
High. A little high, yeah, sure. A little rich. Some people may consider
listen,
that.
If this guy returns the opening kickoff for a touchdown, it's already well worth it. And he has the capability of doing that.
I don't think it's really... It caught me by surprise because I expected it a bit later, but I don't think it's that big of a deal just based off Wetjen's resume. Not many people can carry the resume that Wetjen does in the role that he does.
Right.
That's quite the resume. It's quite what he has done at Iowa. You can't take it away from him. I think he's going to produce as a very good return specialist, something that Steelers have not been able to have or really lock down for quite some time. We have struggled for many, many years just trying to find a very good, consistent one.
Right.
Or trying to hold one down. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, and that's why I understand why they went and got Kaden Wetjen in the 4th. Was it a little rich? Was it a little high for his role? Yeah, because special teams guys, I mean, you look at special teams like kickers, punters, return specialists, gunners, whatever. You don't think of them as like an early day 3 selection, but a guy like Wetjen and his profile and his production, we'll see what he does. But I think he'll be finally the return specialist we've been looking for. When it comes to this situation, you look at like our 4th round picks recently under Omar Khan, Nick Herbig, Mason McCormick, Jack Sawyer, now officially Kaden Wetjen. It's been a good list. It's all turned out to be good. There were other positions I probably would have selected here. Preferably linebacker. Preferably my guy, Kyle Lewis, who I think went to the Dolphins. They didn't take a single linebacker in this class.
No, they didn't.
Because it doesn't get it doesn't get any much closer to that in the rest of this draft class. Getting Wetjen there, I get. Were there other positions I would have taken and then Wetjen later? Yes, because I think he would have been there. Again, it's one of those things where the priorities in order, like the positions, is a little questionable to me because I wouldn't have taken quarterback or corner over guard, but they did. I wouldn't have taken a return specialist over like a linebacker or a safety. They did. Did they get the players they ultimately wanted? Yes. I question the priorities, but they still got some playmakers in my opinion. It's just in certain areas, it's like, you could have waited, but ultimately they didn't. That's where some of this class gets a little interesting because it's like, yeah, they got a playmaker. They got the role player that's really going to do them a service at a spot where they've sucked at for years, but there's just a certain point where maybe you could have waited. If they did, would he have been there? We don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's the game with Omar Khan. And another thing is maybe they felt comfortable taking him here, Wetjen for that matter, is because they already had so many selections in the first 2 days that they're thinking, you know what? This is what, our 6th pick in this class? Let's just take him now.
What traditionally would be a 6th rounder. Traditionally.
Right. Like, yeah, and then this is another one of those situations where they took need over BPA.
And you could argue Kyle Lewis was best player available.
Or anyone else for that, Jalen Kilgore, or whoever the hell you guys wanted, right? I mean, you could always say you preferred this, you preferred that. I mean, that you could say that about every single draft. From past to even just this most recent. They took need over BPA. And I think the reason they did that is because you look at their roster before the draft, during free agency, they fulfilled a lot of needs. A lot of needs in free agency that they had most of their starters completely filled out. Like, before the draft, if the season started, they probably had every single starter on the team. Let's put it that way. So thus, they felt like maybe they didn't need to go BPA because we already have all these positions filled out. Let's just get the role players they needed to. I'm trying to find a reasoning here. That's kind of how I'm looking at it is, yeah, I would have taken another position here and then waited for Wetjen, but maybe this is the Steelers thinking.
I mean, I definitely expected a linebacker around the 4th round, especially looking at the people they brought in for top 30 visits. The linebackers they were looking at outside Jacob Rodriguez, we know he was going early. But the other guys beforehand, like a Lewis, like a Harold Perkins, they were like mid to late round selections. So that kind of seemed like the sweet spot of where the Steelers could have selected a linebacker. And I did anticipate a linebacker being selected, but they didn't do so.
No.
Which makes me think, like, because of the Patrick Queen, if you guys remember the trade rumors to Dallas and whatnot, I'm always a firm believer of where there's smoke, there's fire, but maybe they can hope that Patrick Graham can get the most out of Queen. Maybe Omar Khan truly believes in Queen and likes Queen and plans on extending him. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And plus, you got to factor Cole Holcomb was brought back on a 2-year contract, though I don't know what his capabilities as a defender on defense is going to be. You might just have him play special teams. For some reason, they really like Malik Harrison. We were considering him as a cap casualty. He has yet to get cut. I don't know if he will at this point. And Peyton Wilson, the upside is still there under Patrick Graham.
Right.
So maybe they feel comfortable enough to go with the guys that have the linebacker position, hence why they took a guy like Wetjen, which I can understand, again, because of Wetjen's capabilities as a kick returner.
Right.
And just the need there, because we didn't have that on the team. We did not have a true kick returner or anybody with any experience, really, to be a full-time kick returner on that team. So they opted to take a role player there, and a guy like Wetjen, and I can understand that.
Yeah, I can too. It's just, man, I think we really need a linebacker. And I thought this was a good spot, but that's where day 3 started. We got a super chat. Let's get into that real quick before we move on. Ryan Conley with 2 says, the president is safe. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Did something happen to Trump? Did something happen to Trump? I'm not really here to talk about politics right now. I'm not seeing anything.
I mean, I haven't heard anything.
I'm not seeing anything. Twitter's not telling me a single thing.
No.
We're gonna keep moving on until something breaks. But I don't know, man. In this country, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I can make lemonade with a 5. Says I have no problem with Wetjen. Wetjen. Sorry.
I know the last names are hard to pronounce. Like cut us some slack.
He's a day 1 contributor. Steelers were bottom 5 in kick return and punt return last year, getting a guy that gets you 10 more yards big. I agree, and that's the stats that we put out there. So I totally understand their reasoning behind it. I just think we could have waited, but I still like the Wetjen selection because yeah, we did need that guy because special teams matters. Don't forget that special teams matters. Now we get into the 5th round. We had the 161st pick. But the Steelers traded back with the Chiefs. Deja vu from last year when they traded back from 156 to 164, I think, with the Chiefs, and they still got Wyatt Black. This year, they had 161, but traded 161 and 249, which they originally got from the Colts when they traded up for Germie Bernard. They traded away a very late 7th rounder to the Chiefs for 169 and 210. So they trade back 8 spots while gaining back a 6th-round pick, which they traded when they traded up for Gennings Dunker.
That's right. And they get a earlier 6th-round pick at that.
So with the 169th pick, the Steelers selected Riley Nowakowski, tight end / fullback hybrid out of Indiana. This pick I love because I think Nowakowski is a nasty blocker. He's a hell of a tight end. Funny thing is he started as a linebacker before switching to tight end, which gives me Rosie Nix vibes all over again.
Yes, it does. Reminds me a lot of the Rosie Nix pathway, and Rosie Nix was a hell of a fullback for us, being the lead blocker for Le'Veon Bell and even D. Will for a little bit.
He wasn't here long, but he was an effective blocker. So that linebacker turn to fullback hybrid story reminds me of Roosevelt Nix. But I think not just by looks, but just by build and position and the role, it gives me a throwback to who remembers David Johnson, tight end, fullback hybrid. He wore 85 for us. I'm not talking the running back, David Johnson, for the Cardinals. I'm talking about the former Steelers tight end, David Johnson.
They're going back to the early 2010s, bro.
Yes.
That David Johnson.
That's who this guy reminds me of. He's just one of those quiet dudes where he won't make a lot of crazy plays or he may not get the ball very often. He's very quiet on the field, but he's such a nasty blocker. Like, he's someone you could put all along the line. You could put him at H-back. You could put him at fullback. You could put him along any spot beside the tackles. Mm-hmm. This guy is an effective blocker. As a tight end 3, that's all you could ask for. This is essentially the Connor Hayward replacement, but bigger and better.
Much better, in my opinion, and with a lot more upside. And the 5th round, I did consider it as the sweet spot where the Steelers would address tight end 3, and that they did with a guy like Nowakowski. He's somebody that Cignetti just fell in love with and somebody that he trusted to do all the dirty work. Nowakowski is not afraid to get down and dirty and do what he needs to do, whether that's being lined up in line as a blocker or being lined up at fullback. He's got that versatility to do it. He's a guy that can also be a handy target and be that trusted target like he was for Mendoza for a little bit at Indiana.
Yeah, kind of like a secret pocket weapon, like a back of the pocket guy that, hey, he's on the field, he's going to block, right? No, play action, dunk off in the flat, or you didn't think this guy was going to get the football, and bam, he's up the field 20 yards. That's what Nowakowski brought to the table for Cignetti and Mendoza and everybody on that Hoosiers offense, and that's what he's going to bring to the table for us. I love Nowakowski. I love the way he plays. I like how he can do the dirty work just willingly and do it with a smile on his face. I think he's going to be a hell of a blocker for us and a good replacement for Connor Hayward.
Just a fun player to utilize, get around on the field, and not only utilize him as a blocking tight end or even as an extra weapon on offense, but special teams as well. And that could be a good way to kind of get him implemented with the team and get his feet wet, because he did have 471 career special team snaps between Wisconsin before transferring over to Indiana.
Again, Connor Harry replacement, because Connor Harry played a lot of special teams.
And very, very reminiscent of Rosie Nix.
Yes.
So there you go.
Who remembers Rosie Nix making a forced fumble versus the Raiders? That game, AB had 284 receiving yards.
Yes.
Like, yeah, he had a great game that game. But who remembers when Rosie Nix made that great play and forced a fumble on special teams? Got us the ball back. Like,
Nowakowski was a player.
I get shades of that, man.
But Nowakowski, he was a player that we scouted early on. We actually had him in our pre-free agency mock draft. But he was a guy that stock was kind of rising a little bit, but I liked his play style. I like what he brings to the table. He's got great work ethic. He's not afraid to do all the dirty work if he is called upon. Just a very good selection, in my opinion. And he fits tight end 3 and does exactly what you need him to do.
Agreed. Now, before we get into the 7th round picks, there's a couple super chats. I want to get into the chat here. Mike with a 199 twice and message retracted.
Okay.
I don't know why, but we appreciate it. Pens are up 2-0. Go figure when we're not watching.
Fine, I just won't watch the Pens then, if that's what it takes. If I have to not
know
watch
what?
the Pens for them to win, fine.
I was gonna say, because like now they started the first period real good in the last game versus the Flyers on Wednesday night, and then they allowed 3 unanswered goals in the second period, and it was a wrap.
Yeah, and they just shit the bed.
I'm hoping that's not the case again, but at least they're off to a good start. Good. They finally woke up with a fire lit under them, because they've shown no life all series.
Not at all. You're right about that.
Good. This is the 7th round here.
6th round.
So,
That's right.
This is the 6th round.
The 6th round, the 210th pick that we got from the Chiefs when we traded back. We go trenches and we go defensive line, and we go with a man by the name of Gabriel Rubio, defensive tackle out of Notre Dame.
Who? Bro, nobody, and I mean nobody, anywhere I looked knew who the hell this guy was. He's 6'5", 322, or 21, whatever, 320 plus. He has 33 5/8 of an inch of arms. And he's played mostly nose tackle. He's mostly a run defender. He has no pass rush upside. He actually has not much production whatsoever.
No, he's played 5 years at Notre Dame, mainly as a reserve. He's played 39 games within that span, and his college production ain't too great. He's only gotten 66 total tackles, 7 tackles for losses, and a sack and a half. In 5 years.
Yeah, he could definitely make a good role player for the nose, but as of right now, I'm viewing him mostly as just a camp body. And yes, his father was drafted by the Steelers in the 7th round of the 1998 draft. Angel.
Yeah,
Rubio.
but he didn't make the final roster because he was traded shortly after to the 49ers.
So maybe he'll have a better stint than his dad.
I mean,
I sure hope so.
Listen, when this man's name was highlighted on the television when we were watching on ESPN, I didn't know who the hell this guy was.
Dude, so I'm sure some of y'all seen we were uploading some of our live reactions to the selections being made. We were gonna do this one. We did a recording for this one. And then we're like, who the fuck is this guy? I have a little bit of a snippet to show you guys because it's so hilarious. I'm going to pop it up here for you. But let me tell you, we could have absolutely just saved this guy for the last pick if we really wanted to. Honestly, Corleone was on the board. He's 6 foot 340. If you want a big-ass nose, go for it. I'm not saying he's not going to pan out. He could. We don't know. It's just...
Listen, like, if you guys want to know... like, what his consensus rank was, if you guys really want to know, his rank was 635.
Yeah.
I did not know who this man was. I did not see any tape on this man. I just researched his stats and just very little of what I could find. You could hardly find anything on this dude.
Guys, I'm going to play the clip of what Rob said. Like, I'm just going to this is all we have to say about this selection. Gabriel Rubio, defensive tackle out of Notre Dame, so they finally go defensive depth.
I don't know who this guy is.
Gabriel Rubio, defensive tackle out of Notre Dame, so they finally go defensive depth.
I don't know who this guy is. What am I supposed to say?
Enough said.
I don't know who he is.
Tell me how you really feel, Rob.
We could have taken him at 230.
All joking aside, I don't understand the selection, but I hope he turns out.
Let me say this.
Welcome to the Steelers.
Let me say this. He's going to be given a shot. He's going to be defensive line depth. From what I hear, he can stop the run well. We'll see what we can do. But let me say this. If they want to take a linebacker here, Harold Perkins was available on the board, or even a Dante Lawson out of Alabama. If they wanted to go with an off-ball linebacker, this could have been the pick. That's all I'll say.
I agree. Now we get into 224. We finally went safety, but mostly for special teams. The Steelers selected with the 224th overall pick, Robert Spears Jennings, safety out of Oklahoma. He's got good size. He's a bit like a 6'1", 205. A little bit of on the bulkier side, more so a box safety. He works best along the line in the run. I wouldn't trust him in coverage or have to deal with coverage responsibilities or communication, but he works best in the slot, and he's a really fast guy for his size.
Yeah,
so
4'3", 240, dude.
Yeah, this tells me he's just going to be a hell of a gunner on special teams. This is someone that can challenge Sebastian Castro for a spot on special teams. And that's about it. Maybe they could work him as a deep safety. I'm sure they're going to try him there because he has a little bit of experience. Some bit of that versatility and that hybrid to him. I view him just mostly as just someone that can work in the box, but his immediate impact is going to be special teams.
Yeah, just based off his size, his speed for sure with that size. I mean, for a box safety, he carries a lot of speed. And the guy can for sure tackle, and he can lay the hammer. He's got a good hit stick to him.
Yeah.
And you add that to special teams, he could be a very good contributor right there. And that's just what I really see coming out of Robert Spears Jennings right here.
But he's an explosive athlete who can definitely cover returns. We'll see what he can do. But safety depth for those that wanted it. Now at the last pick, the 230th pick. I don't know where this ranks in terms of favorites for me, but it's up there. If it's like, I think it's Bernard, Dunker, and then probably this guy, if I'm being real with you. 230th overall. This could have went anywhere, dude. They selected Eli Heidenreich, running back out of Navy. Eli fucking Heidenreich, dude.
Yes. The hometown player, a Pittsburgh native that got to be selected to his hometown team in the city of Pittsburgh.
In person, he was there. He's the hometown boy. Born and raised, he went to high school there. He was there throughout the draft. He got the opportunity to put this cap on, to wave the terrible towel, to go out there on stage with Roger Goodell and everybody while Will Allen made that selection. He went out into the crowd and started the waving the towel. It was a hell of a moment, man. It really was.
He was just back home. He was taking it all in. I mean, you just saw it in his face. He was emotional. He got to be drafted to the team that he grew up watching. I mean, that's quite an experience. That's quite a moment in the city of Pittsburgh at that too.
It's a feel-good moment. It's a feel-good selection, but I think this one has potential to be an absolute steal. I'm being completely honest with you. If you guys want a pro comp for what this guy is capable of, I know everyone's saying, I hope jokingly would say, oh, he's the next Christian McCaffrey. I don't think he'll be as much of an effective running back as Christian McCaffrey, but I think he's more of like a Danny Woodhead. Shout out to him. Because he was a fucking demon back in his day.
Yes, he was.
He was a hell of a receiving back. And similar journey. Now, Heidenreich's a bit bigger, but he's just as athletic and has just as much, if not more, receiving upside. This guy had almost 1,000 yards at Navy last year. He has the Navy record for most receiving touchdowns and total receiving yards with 1,994 receiving yards and 16 receiving touchdowns.
And he also tied the school record for receiving touchdowns in a single season with 6 in back-to-back seasons.
At Navy, dude. This guy's a playmaker.
This guy was the most productive target for Navy's offense and the biggest contributor for Navy's offense.
Easily. This guy's a playmaker.
This guy, you can line him up at running back. You can line him up in the slot.
Even a fullback.
He's damn good at catching out the backfield. He can track the ball. He's got a low catch rate. You know, he can catch the ball, and his ball security is very good. 1 fumble on 1,138 offensive snaps during his time at Navy. This guy is a bona fide football player.
Yes.
Wherever you want to line him at on offense, this guy is going to do his damn best and contribute to the best of his ability.
Yes, and I Make Lemonade says in the chat, he really likes Heidenreich. He's really rooting for him, and his combine is strong. Yes, this guy is an athlete. This guy is really, really good, man. He's going to make for a hell of a receiving back. He might even ultimately make the move to wide receiver fully. Now, his route tree is not much known because, I mean, they didn't really run a lot of routes down there in Navy. A lot of his receptions were like, as a running back, what you would expect. But at the combine, he impressed a little bit in his footwork and how he was able to work some routes that he might not have been too familiar with because Navy is just, it doesn't really give them the greatest tree, does it? But if he can potentially work as a route runner, he might ultimately make the move to receiver. But he's running back by position, which means this is competition for Caleb Johnson. I would not be surprised whatsoever, and I'm not ruling it out, that Eli Heidenreich could beat out Caleb Johnson for the number 3 running back spot. Because Caleb Johnson does not offer receiving upside. He's already not good in pass pro. Eli Heidenreich, we don't know that because they didn't run a lot of pass protection reps. So he might need work on that. But as a receiving back, he already has that checked. He has the explosiveness. He has the short area burst. He can break off tackles, right? Like, this guy is just an explosive athlete.
And even a contributor on special teams where they could have him start off at. And that could open up the door for him to get opportunities on offense for him to be utilized wherever because he's a Swiss Army knife type of football player, right? He's very versatile. Whatever you need him to do, he's got you. Caleb Johnson, I'm still rooting for him. I'm hoping for the best. But he's a one-trick pony. The guy's not reliable in pass protection. He still hasn't gotten that down yet.
And he's not even that explosive. I thought he'd be more explosive coming out of Iowa. Hasn't panned out. I'm not saying it can't, but this is the much-needed competition he needs. Eli Heidenreich, I would not be shocked whatsoever if he makes a strong push for the 53 or even finds a role on the offense because there's definitely a role for him on Sundays with any team, especially in this offense with Mike McCarthy calling plays. There's a role for him. The guy has so much receiving upside. He has so much athleticism to him, and he's all heart. Like, you look at this dude, you see where he comes from. He's all heart. He's very humble. He's a hard worker. He's a good dude. He serves for this fucking country. And now he's serving for the Steelers, man. So,
and I believe on ESPN they said when he was walking down to the stage and whatnot, I think they said that he was a 0-star recruit.
0-star recruit.
Heading into Navy, and he busted his ass, and he ended up getting himself into the Navy's history books, the school records.
Yes.
Like, it goes to show his work ethic, his ability to just put his head down and just be the best football player he can be. And you know that's only going to continue with him being selected by his hometown team.
And for a 7th-round flyer, especially with the last pick of this draft, why not? Why not? You see what he does on the field. You see that he can be a playmaker. You know you need an extra running back for competition, right? You need someone with that extra receiving upside.
And just based off the receiving yards and the records that he's put up, I think he's got some real upside. I think he's better off as a receiver than a running back.
For sure.
If you want him to work at receiver, and because of his size, it would have to work in the slot, but that's fine. You want him to work as slot depth right there, I think that's a fine role for him.
Yeah.
To get him started there and even work on his route tree. But even with a limited route tree, some of the routes he did, even some of the deep balls, his separation is not that bad because of his quick feet and his great speed. Ran a 4.4 at the combine.
Yeah, doing what he did at Navy and now bringing it to the NFL level, I'm very excited to see what he can offer to the table. I know it's a 7th-round pick, and we really shouldn't get that excited. I think the last time people got this excited over a 7th-round pick was Corey Trice. But he couldn't stay healthy. This guy is all about being on the football field. If he's not serving this country, he's on the football field. It's crazy, man. It's really cool. It was an awesome moment. We're really rooting for Eli Heidenreich. We're also rooting for Caleb Johnson too. Don't get us wrong. We're rooting for both of those guys. So it's gonna be interesting. But Eli Heidenreich, man, we're looking forward to it. Thank you for serving this country, and now we're looking forward to you serving the Steelers shield. I guess you can really call him Captain America. Eli Heidenreich's a Steeler, man. I was very pumped to see this. I didn't know where they were going at the end of the mock because it's a 7th-round pick. It's the end of the draft. So can't really take too much into it. Then you get a guy like this, and seeing his story and everything, it's really cool. It's easy to root for.
Exactly. It makes you want to root for him, and how can you not root for a guy like him?
Yeah. So Eli Heidenreich is a Pittsburgh Steeler. I'm looking forward to see what he can bring to the table and what his role is going to be. Because I think he can definitely have a role on this offense. He could play anywhere. And I definitely get Danny Woodhead vibes. So, hell yeah.
If we get a Danny Woodhead-esque player, I mean, that'd be damn good.
Yes.
And just like, even as a receiving back, like, to kind of fill that void of Gainwell, whether that's early or just down the road, hey, like that's an extra weapon to have on offense. You can never have too many.
Right. But that's the draft class, folks. That's the draft class.
That is all 10 selections that the Steelers had.
So let me get that up here. That's the draft class for you. There you go. Why did it refresh? Go away. There we go. 1 second. Why isn't it working? Oh, you guys can kind of see that. There we go. That's the draft class. Max Iheanachor, Germie Bernard, Drew Allar, Daylen Everette, Gennings Dunker, Kaden Wetjen, Nowakowski, Gabriel Rubio, Robert Spears Jennings, and Eli flipping HEIDENREICH. That's the draft class. How do you guys feel about it? The poll, most of it, over almost 600 votes, says with 46%, the majority say good. They feel good. Next closest is mid at 28. Next closest is great at 18%, and bad at 7%. I do have some questions regarding this mock, or I keep saying mock. Draft class, yes. I do have some questions, and we did briefly mention it throughout the entire discussion here. I don't know why they keep moving guys along the line, but they do have that flexibility. They do have that experience with someone like Fitanu moving over to the left. So I guess that's their insurance policy. I don't know why they keep moving them, but that's what they want to do, and I hope it pans out. I question it, but we'll see if it pans out. Number 2, not a single linebacker selected here. Not a single one. And I could have sworn they were going to take a linebacker as early as like the 3rd round, because the whole Patrick Queen situation, him and Dallas were like, okay, the writing's on the wall, but we didn't take a linebacker. So they're trusting Queen, they're trusting Wilson, they're trusting Holcomb, and they're trusting Malik Harrison. I don't know about that. I'm all for giving Queen one more shot with a new coaching staff, because last year's staff, or the staff he was with when he joined the Steelers, just obviously didn't pan out for anyone, really. So I guess we got to give him a shot in a contract year. I guess it's the right thing to do. But I was expecting extra depth, and we didn't draft a single linebacker, not even for special teams.
Nope.
Not a single one.
Not at all.
Kyle Lewis was on the board. I would have taken him in the 4th. Harold Perkins was there. They liked him a lot. Even Deontay Lawson. Or Red Murdoch, who went dead last. Mr. Irrelevant.
Yep, to the Broncos. See, because looking at the linebacker room right now is Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Malik Harrison, Cole Holcomb, and Carson Bruner. That's 5 inside linebackers that they have. On paper, it seems that the Steelers, they are obviously comfortable with it to not take a linebacker in the draft class. Had they cut Malik Harrison and saved whatever capital they would have, I think it would have been almost $5 million.
Right.
Had they done that, then no doubt about it, they would have taken a linebacker to have as depth, special teams purposes, and a developmental piece, but that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
For some odd reason, they find Malik Harrison to be serviceable. Like, if anything, he's a solid run defender, but I just don't think he's athletic enough.
No.
I don't. And I don't expect Cole Holcomb to see a lot of playing time on the football field. That could change under Patrick Graham, but it seems they just brought him back on a 2-year deal just for special teams purposes to pair with Carson Bruner.
If it gets to a point where Marvin Harrison is seeing reps with the starting defense, we're going to have some problems.
Which is hence why we considered him as a cap casualty, hence why we were kind of hoping that they look for linebacker in the draft. That's what we were expecting.
But we didn't.
So it seems that the Steelers are comfortable with the linebacker position. All we can really hope for is that Patrick Graham can get the most out of Peyton Wilson.
And especially Patrick Queen.
Yes. Coming into a contract year.
Another question I have coming out of this draft class is, yes, we got Germie Bernard. Eli Heidenreich has receiving upside. We'll see what his role is. But we don't exactly have receiving depth. It's still a concern. I was hoping they would double dip at receiver. Instead, they decided to take a quarterback over that. We don't have receiving depth. Our receiving depth is Roman Wilson.
And outside of that, behind that, we're talking
Ben Skoranek, A.T. Perry, Max Hurlman. That's it.
John Reese Plumlee. That's basically it.
We don't have receiving depth. Now, there is indeed the flexibility of moving Bernard outside or keeping him in the slot or putting Pittman in the slot potentially. But then who's your primary backup X? We don't have a primary backup X guy. We don't. I'm looking at Bernard as the slot guy initially with flexibility to move outside. That's fine. But God forbid, knock on wood, someone gets hurt. Who's going to the X?
Is that Roman?
Or who's going to the outside?
Would that be Roman?
Or who would go in the slot whenever something happens? I guess it would be Roman. I guess we have to give Roman one more shot, seeing it's a new staff. I guess it's the right thing to do with a lot of people, but I'm still very concerned at the receiving depth.
I would have expected them to look for a more pure wide receiver, like select one for competition purposes for Roman, because Roman, whether he's the 4 or not, he still needs some competition. He should just not be gifted that role, that wide receiver 4 role. He's got to compete for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like A.T. Perry, no disrespect to the guys behind him, I just don't view them as credible competition.
We got Mike in the chat says Wetjen is the X. He definitely, I don't think has much receiving upside. I don't know how much of his route tree is there. I think he's more of like a gadget guy. Like you give him the ball on screens or checkdowns or on jet sweeps. Maybe he could work the slot potentially.
I mean, like,
I'm just not looking at him as like, hey, you got to play receiver.
Well, not right out the gate. I mean, like, we know what his role immediately is. We know why they selected him as early as some people didn't expect, right?
Right.
Kick returns, return duties. Maybe down the road, considering he's going to be here 4 years, maybe down the road, they're looking to work on his route tree and develop him as a target, as a receiver, kind of like maybe a Tyler Lockett-esque kind of role.
Well, to be fair,
or path.
To be fair, being selected in the 4th round, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Can he expand on that? Can we get that out of him?
If the Steelers can be able to be patient with that, as far as his receiving capabilities, and get that out of him, this makes this pick much more better.
Right.
Rather than just getting him solely for return duties, you're developing him to be an extra weapon on offense.
Right.
In some form or fashion. I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, I'm hoping they add another receiver. I was hoping they would prioritize receiver a lot much better, a lot earlier than they did. They didn't. I still love the Bernard selection, but otherwise, still concerned at receiver in terms of depth. Just always got to have that insurance. Depth is very important, especially with 10 picks.
Maybe they still look into free agency or the available free agents out there.
It's very possible.
The only one I could think of that's still available for some odd reason, and I don't know if he would settle for a backup role, but I mean, at this current stage, he hasn't gotten picked up yet. Why not see if Jennings is interested?
Why not? How's he still on the market?
He's still available. As far as I know, he has not been picked up. He has not been signed yet. If you want to look for a guy that can play both inside and outside, is a credible target, a good depth guy, and a guy that could also block his ass off, Jennings would be my go-to if you want an extra weapon, like a 4th wide receiver, and some competition for Roman Wilson.
Or maybe they do see like a wider role for Eli Heidenreich. I mean, McCarthy views him as a 4-down player.
Maybe they just see more out of Heidenreich or even Wetjen, hence why they selected them.
I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of people praising Wetjen in the chat because, he's a dog.
Maybe there's more to his receiving upside than we're letting on.
X Elite says, I'm incredibly excited to see what Eli Heidenreich for y'all. He reminds me a lot of CMC, hard runner, just an absolute tank. Yeah. Yeah, Pittsburgh bred, Pittsburgh born and raised.
There's no doubt he's an athlete. He's got work ethic, man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He's got the love for the game. He's got the love for the sport and the love for the team.
That's the kind of player I want playing for this football team, right? Someone that gets it, someone that's just a good dude, like an old-fashioned dude, right? Like just a normal guy. Puts his head down, works his ass off, and he's going to deliver. Easy to root for.
Makes for a great story.
And one more question I got here regarding this draft class, when we've mentioned it in between here, it's just I question why they took certain positions over others.
Like quarterback over guard. You know what I'm saying?
Like there were certain players I would have absolutely taken instead of the ones we got and addressed those positions a lot earlier based on how the board fell. With that being said, I still think this draft class is solid. I think it's decent, and I think it does have the potential to be very good. I think the offensive line specifically, if it all pans out, is going to be solidified with this draft class. That's number one. Number two is I think Germie Bernard is going to be a very good wide receiver. Outside of that, everyone else kind of fills in role spots. Drew Allar fills in a spot at quarterback. We'll see if they can develop him. Everett fills in cornerback for now. Maybe they can develop him to be a starter, but for now, he's just a depth guy, rotational piece.
Yes.
Wetjen is mostly a return specialist. Nowakowski is mostly a tight end 3. Everyone else is just camp bodies, depth pieces, extra spots to fill on the roster. It's not the flashiest draft class, and I don't think it was ever going to be. Has Omar Khan ever had a flashy draft class? I don't think so. Was this underwhelming in some cases? Yes, because I expected them to fulfill other spots earlier, maybe some other spots before others. They didn't. In some spots it panned out, some not so much because there's still questions at linebacker and receiver. But overall, this draft class, I'd say it's decent to solid with the potential to be real good.
If I had to compare it to the previous 3 draft classes that Omar Khan has conducted, I would say coming out of the NFL draft initially is his worst. But I don't mean that in a bad way.
So you're saying initially, like the initial feeling of coming out of the draft, it's not. It's not up to par as the other 3.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like all these players are going to be bust or it's going to suck. I'm not saying it's going to be like the draft classes from 2018 all the way to 2022, the Kevin Colbert draft classes. I'm not saying that. It's just compared to the players that he selected from the previous draft classes and the value that he got from the players he selected them at.
Is not up to par to what this one.
Yes.
Or this one's not up to par to those. What you're trying to say.
That's what I'm saying. I don't mean that in a bad way whatsoever. A lot of these players still have good upside. A lot of these players are going to provide a role. A lot of these players can provide something good for this team, like Iheanachor for offensive line. Bernard, I think he's going to fill in great for us at wide receiver. Dunker, right at left guard, I think he fits the mold perfectly. Everybody else, like Wetjen for kick return, I think he can fit well right there. Tight end 3 for Riley Nowakowski. There you go. Everybody else.
Eli Heidenreich, I like him. I like Everett's potential. Everyone else is just like, could have went without, personally. Or maybe you should have addressed those in a different order. That's kind of how I feel about this draft class.
Again, some of the paths that Omar Khan and company did go down were a bit head scratching. It kind of caught you off guard. Kind of caught you, like off guard, right? But
like you didn't expect them to take that so early, or you didn't expect them to take that position over another when that was probably more important. Like obviously they addressed the need here over BPA, but in the order of way they address those needs is where I'm scratching my head.
Like we felt wide receiver and guard were the top 2 important positions, yet they waited
till day 2
for wide receiver and guard. They waited that long, basically. They traded up for those 2 positions. They took care of those 2 positions. But they took positions over those which were still a bit head-scratching.
And I know it's way too early to tell because this draft class could turn out to be completely shit. This draft class could turn out to be completely great. We don't know. It's still fresh. It's still fresh. The initial feeling isn't up to par as previous draft classes, but I still think it has the potential to be really good. I think it's a decent to a solid draft class initial feeling right now. And of course, it just happened and it's really in retrospect, but compared to what we could have gotten, seeing how the board fell and what they could have done, I think it could have been a lot better. But obviously, these guys are Steelers now. This is the class we're dealt with. So obviously, these guys are the people we're going to run with. Thus, they have our full support. And we'll see how they turn out. And we hope a lot of these guys turn out to the selection and the level that they expect them to. We hope Iheanachor is the franchise right tackle with Fatano filling over at left just fine. We hope Dunker is the great left guard that we need him to be. We hope Bernard is the great receiver playmaker that we need. We hope Allar turns out the way that he hopefully can. He can actually reach his ceiling. We hope Wetjen can bring, a difference maker to the return game while also maybe expanding himself as a receiver down the road. We don't know.
Yeah.
But that's the draft class.
I mean, there's some real promise. There's some real upside. And it might take some time. It's going to take some patience with some of these players, but we'll see what goes down. I mean, it's going to make for an interesting summer, an interesting OTAs, interesting training camp, and interesting preseason, all the way down to the regular season for these 10 players.
Right. But I think a lot of people are kind of sharing the same supplement where they're a little underwhelmed or disappointed or not really feeling it. Again, that's just the initial feeling. But overall, yeah, they addressed the O-line, they addressed the receiver, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. They didn't address linebacker. I was hoping for another receiver. They could have waited on quarterback. They could have waited on special teams, but clearly they prioritized those positions over others, and thus this is the class we're dealt with. So there you go. That's what Omar Khan did. That's what Omar Khan and company did for the 2026 draft while I was in Pittsburgh. We'll see how it turns out. But there you have it. That's the Steelers 2026 draft class right then and there. A lot of emphasis on the offense, which I think we expected because most of the starters on defense were already filled out. Like literally, every single starter on the defense was filled out. All you needed was extra depth, extra spots elsewhere. They filled that in some roles. One specifically, not so much, which has me concerned for the future. But they had that's the whole Omar Khan has put himself in. So
Yeah,
we'll see how it pans out. How are you guys' feelings on this draft class? Mark, tell me how you really feel. He says Patrick Queen is ass. Is Wetjen better than Skylar Bell? Well, in terms of return specialist, yes. As a receiver, no.
I'm surprised Skylar Bell fell as far as he did. Where did he go? Buffalo, like the 4th round or something. Yeah. I don't know why he fell so far. Like Skylar Bell's got some real upside, but like a lot of players fell a lot farther than we expected.
JDG Shaggy Dog says Wetjen reminds me of Darren Sproles.
You know what? Like it's not far fetched.
I was kind of thinking that with Desmond Reed. Wait a minute, hold on. He didn't get drafted, did he? I don't think he was going to. That's a shame.
No, he didn't. No.
Oh, speaking of which, undrafted free agents. Is there any news on that?
Actually, that's a good question.
Let me refresh Twitter here. Yes, there is some news on some undrafted free agents here. The first one, that's according to Steelers draft headquarters on X. Steelers are signing former NC State and Indiana running back Devin Boykin to an undrafted free agent deal.
Devin Boykin, okay.
Or defensive back. So there you go. They get another Indiana Hoosier and another camp body there. Another guy that can challenge what's his name? Spears Jennings and Sebastian Castro, right?
And to add on upon that, they also so far have brought in 4 other players, including Devin Boykin, Lake McRee, tight end out of USC, Kevin Joe Biddy Jr., he's a defensive lineman out of Syracuse.
Joe Biddy? Jobity?
Jobity? However you say
Syracuse defensive tackle.
These last names, man, I try. Lath Margin, who's a kicker out of Kansas, and Chaman Meteor, tight end out of Arizona State.
There you go.
So far, from what I'm seeing, those are the current undrafted free agents that the Steelers are looking to bring in and sign.
Right.
So there you have it.
Still waiting on another receiver. What inside linebackers are left in free agency? None.
Not really anybody great or particular.
None, dude. Jennings won't agree to be a 3 is probably why he's still available. He wants to be a 1. Well, he's not a 1. Juwan Jennings, for that matter. He's not a 1.
No.
Dustin says, wide receiver Jeff Carlisle went undrafted, now signed with the Chiefs. Of course he did. They love their tall, speedy receivers, don't they? Should Steelers have taken an inside linebacker? I don't know why they didn't. They definitely should have taken a linebacker. It's the one position they didn't take that I could have sworn they were going to take. Like at 121, Kyle Lewis was on the board. We're like, oh, it's so obvious. But it wasn't. It wasn't.
Or even like at 210. Like
that's where I go back and say, like, I would have done things a little differently.
Yeah, like with 210. I think with that pick, like with a Harold Perkins, they brought him in for a top 30 visit. They looked at him, and he's an athletic specimen. You know, he has some developmental skills, but they opted not to go that direction.
Like, I know this is in retrospect. Take it for what you will, but can you imagine if we traded up for Makai Lemon and then was D'Angelo Ponce available at 50 or 53? Where did he get taken?
Jets. But I don't know which. I can't remember which selection.
He was available at 50, so he wouldn't have been available at 53. But if you wanted to trade up for him, you could. But even then, you could have taken a guard there at 53 if you really wanted to.
That would have been an option, yeah.
And then 76, 85, whatever is just wide open.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to the whole, not to harp on it again, but the whole Makai Lemon situation, considering how it all went down, would you think that it has harpered on the Steelers draft entirely? Especially with how it started?
Well, considering we got Bernard, not as much as if we didn't get a guy like him.
I mean, them trading up for Bernard, like, it did help out a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
How do you say his last name?
Iheanachor.
Iheanachor. Jeez, I'm trying, okay? Considering that they took a Iheanachor in the first round, they trade up for a receiver, it made it more digestible. So.
Just the way I'm looking at it. Let me see. Where we at in the chat? Did we have a Spearman in the chat? I thought we had a Spearman in the chat. I'm saying, really? Not even in the season yet. Wetjen wasn't used much in the passing game, but when he was out there, he got good separation. Because he's that guy. He's just so shifty. His footwork and his vision, right? He knows how to make plays before and after the ball's in his hands, right? Guy's a playmaker. Yeah, Jim just mentioned what we mentioned about the undrafted free agents. Lake McCree, Devin Boykin, Kevin Jabidi, and kicker, Lath Margin. He'll get an opportunity. Look at Wetjen's Shrine Bowl footage. He could find himself to wide receiver room as a depth piece. I did look at that, and I did see some potential there. It'll be very interesting to see if the Steelers are going to try to get that out of him. Definitely as a slot option. Dustin says Drew Allar will be a burn draft pick. Could have went with another receiver or linebacker. I agree. Or guard at that point, and then gone linebacker or receiver at that point. If there's one pick I definitely don't like in this, based off of where it was selected, it's Allar or Allar. It's that one. Like, I don't like that pick.
It's just too rich for me.
It is, but we'll see how it turns out. Got to give him a chance at least, right? We should have left Allar on the board. Worst pick ever, in my opinion. It definitely wasn't a good pick. It could turn out to be a good pick, but based off of the feeling initially, I don't like the pick. Y'all saw our reaction.
Wasn't happy about it.
No. I'm glad we still got the guard we wanted, but I still wouldn't have taken him. At least not at that point. 4th, 5th, by all means. Joseph says Eli in the 7th is a steal. I believe so. I believe so. Kate says Omar Khan is super overrated.
It's a love-hate relationship with Omar Khan.
It very much is, isn't it? It's a love-hate relationship with that guy.
It's like he has his moments like in free agency, right? Like he was cooking, he was acquiring all these players, like he got them on good deals. He traded for Pittman, he got Brisker.
It was the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like he has his moments. It's like, yeah, awesome, cool. Great job, Khan. You're the Khan artist. And then like last year with the Pickens trade, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, then he handicaps receiver and, it's just.
It's like
this Aaron Rodgers situation.
Yeah, it's like, Khan, like what exactly are you doing?
I don't know, man. All we know is he's going to be the GM for a long time because, they ain't firing him. Richie says good draft class today. He thinks it's a good draft class. It has the potential to be a really good draft class. It does.
There's a lot of good upside. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
There's definitely players with high ceilings. I'll say that.
And when, under a new coaching staff, because this is the first draft without Mike Tomlin as head coach.
Yeah.
And this is an entirely new, different coaching staff. So it's going to be a real test with this revamped coaching staff on what they can do in getting the potential of this talent out.
For sure. Dustium says, not excited with the draft class. Probably has little to do with not getting Lemon. Khan got conned. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to leave a sour taste. We'll see how that pans. It's going to be very interesting to see how that specifically pans out. It's going to be very interesting looking at it 4 years from now. I'm sure Iheanachor is going to turn out to be a good tackle. We'll see how all that is really looking in retrospect. It's going to be interesting. But I still, even now looking at it, it's not a good look for the organization. It just looks goofy. It really looks goofy. Yes, Danielle, we are home already. We got home
10 o'clock.
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Left the home early.
Got up bright and early just to get home early, so yeah.
Yeah. Had to get home just in time for 12 o'clock for this to for this draft to essentially conclude here. Johnny says need safety and pass coverage inside linebacker, but that's about it. Yeah, I was hoping we get one of those, maybe 2 birds with 1 stone with Kyle Lewis, and we didn't. I guess we really shouldn't harbor too much on the guys we didn't get and just focus on the guys we do have, because those are the guys that are repping the shield now. But
yeah, because like a guy like Jalen Kilgore, he fell a lot farther than I anticipated. And now I'm kind of thinking maybe the Steelers look at him because maybe they're looking to add more to the safety group. They did in the 7th round, but that's primarily for special teams purposes, I expect.
right.
Maybe they see more out of Brisker. Maybe they got him in just for a 1-year deal, but are hoping to see him break out in his season with the Steelers and maybe look to potentially extend him down the road.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an idea. Maybe that's something that they're considering.
Yeah, we'll see. Dust, he says Steelers traded up multiple times after getting jacked by Roseman, so yes. They traded 3 times, three times. I guess they really felt the pressure after night 1, didn't they? Tyrone says, what's up, guys? How you doing, man?
What's good, Tyrone?
He says the first 7 I'm good with. The last 3, no. Well, I'm definitely good with Eli Heidenreich. That's for sure. Nick says, Pregnon went 88. We could have had him as a later guard. Yeah. It's just one of those things, like, you look at that in retrospect. And you do say in retrospect, but it's also like, damn, you know? I'll still take Dunker, though. I'm very happy with Dunker. And where we got him is great value. I can't make lemonade says, I think Chase Basantis getting picked early in the 2nd may have changed strategy for Khan. It might have. Obviously, we don't know. We're not in the war room. We don't know. We're not in his head.
Exactly. I mean, it could be a case for sure.
I'm just glad we are not the Jags. Can you imagine being a Jags fan tonight? Yeah, their draft. I mean, Pregnon's a good pick. Everyone else is like, really?
Yeah, they took Borkature so early,
Their class looks interesting. Like, and I'll even give this to, man, I can't believe I'm saying this. The Jets have a better draft class than the Jags. Outside of Klubnik, which is a very Jet selection.
I don't get.
But the Jets have a better class than the Jags, in my opinion. I got to give it to the Browns. They had a good draft class. Go fuck yourselves.
If we're being real here, yeah, they had a solid draft class.
Although they took Taylor Green. Of course they did. Why do the Browns, they do this every year. They always take the most hyped quarterback in the class and ruin his development. It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
Well, it's the Browns, man. They always cycle with quarterbacks because they're just hoping and living on a prayer that they land one.
They suck.
They can't develop a quarterback. That's their issue. They're not willing to be patient. Hell, we were sitting at a bus stop waiting for the bus to be here, and a Browns fan actually traveled to Pittsburgh. He was all geared up. He actually showcased his colors. And he said the same thing, like the Browns aren't patient. And I'm like, yeah. That's just how it always is.
Yeah. The Rams and Steelers were trying to trade up, but the Rams thought we were taking Ty Simpson, so they cut the trade talks. Is that true, TJ? We weren't taking no Ty Simpson. I know that was always the fear, but we were never taking Ty Simpson.
That would have been awful.
If they took Ty, like let's say they actually traded up and they actually got Ty Simpson, bro. Omar Khan, he wouldn't have wanted to show face in Pittsburgh that night.
That would have been worse than when they took Allar 76. Allar, sorry.
I mean, I don't know what the Rams are doing. Good luck. I don't think McVay's happy about it, but I mean, it's your problem now, boy.
He's got no choice but to work with it.
White Buffalo says Omar definitely reached on some picks, but I think O-line is set for years. Iheanachor and Dunker are dogs. I agree with that. He definitely reached on some picks, but if there's one positive for certain that we can get out of this draft class is I think that the O-line isn't going to be a worry. Like if it pans out the way it needs to, offensive line is Hakuna Matata.
Let me ask you this, and I'm going to ask the chat too. Based off the selections that we had in this draft class and the value, which player would you say is the better value selection?
Dunker.
You think Dunker?
At 96, yes.
Yeah. Because I was thinking the same thing.
Dunker for sure.
Dunker, man, I could have sworn he was going to be a mid to late 2nd rounder. He fell basically to the tail end of night too. I don't know why, I don't know how, but that's damn good value.
If I had to give you like definite reaches for the Steelers, Drew Allar, Kaden Wetjen, and Gabriel Rubio. Did I get his name right? Those are definite three reaches.
I still find Allar to be quite the reach. Is still too
Allar.
rich. Yeah, I'm sorry, but Rubio, I still don't know who he is. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I just don't know who he is.
No one does, Bobby. No one does.
I'm trying here. Okay.
No one does. Once Makai started to drop to around 17-19, Khan should trade up for him, says Dustin. I agree, but unfortunately, that's not a reality that we're going to be given. No, he's on the other side of the state. Carlos is not a safety slot, maybe not a safety. Well, people are saying he might move to safety. That would have been worst case scenario, which is still a great way to go because then he's just a bulkier box safety.
He brings great versatility, dude.
I think he could. I think he would have panned just out at linebacker.
But now I think
he's a Dolphin.
Yeah, that's right. He did go to the Dolphins. I mean,
he's a Dolphin.
There you go.
Carl Wood says you can't judge a draft right after. Well, you can give your opinion for sure, but you can't exactly grade it, can you? You can't really grade it. We got to see how these players turn out. And it's not going to be until 3 years in, 2-3 years in.
Yeah. Like with the 2023 draft class, like we can say that was a damn good draft class with the majority of those picks.
Yes.
The majority of them are due for extensions, and they should stay. They should remain.
Yeah. At least, 4 of them. Broderick, obviously not.
Well, yes, of course. I mean, the writing's on the wall with Iheanachor.
2024, dude, we got 3 long-term starters on the line in that class. Roman Wilson, I don't know. But the line, we got 3 dogs in that class. 2025, Harmon's looking good. Johnson, not so much. Jack Sawyer's looking all right. We'll see what he holds. Y.A. Black's looking like a good depth guy.
We all like Y.A. Black.
Will Howard, we'll see. Carson Bruner's a special teams guy. Dante Ken, hopefully he gets a shot this year. But see, that's where we go back to where his past 3 draft classes compared to this year, it doesn't have the same feeling immediately. But it does have potential. Some questionable moves, some reaches for sure, but it does have potential. TJ Black says he feels bad for Broderick. I do too, because he was out of position, and then when he finally was starting to get on the right track, boom, neck injury. It sucks. I hope he finds his footing elsewhere, man. It's just not going to be here.
Listen, I'm rooting for Broderick.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Broderick. I always have, and I will continue to do so, even if he's no longer a Steeler. Because
yeah, protect my quarterback.
I did yell that. Man, we were pumped. I was excited because that's who we wanted. We wanted a line. I was hoping for the best. The Steelers didn't really do him any favors, moving him out of position, him being raw and whatnot coming out of Georgia. And the neck injury is unfortunate, but I hope he recovers well, and I hope he can find his footing somewhere else.
Agreed. B. Mills says, I swear if we take another lineman in the first round, I can't do it another year. Like that's what I was thinking after we took Iheanachor. Like, bro, another tackle? It was the night before.
Well,
Daniel Jeremiah said, oh, the Steelers are taking Blake Miller at 21. I'm like, we don't need another tackle. I'm fine with what we are. Lo and behold, we take another tackle.
We weren't supposed to,
but
it ended up happening. Yeah, no, we're good on line. We're fine on line. And D-line, we're good because Hayward's still going to play 2 more years.
Right.
I don't think they take defensive line early next year. I don't think they should.
No, next year I'm already looking at quarterback.
So, trenches.
Like, if you want a way too early first-round prediction, quarterback.
If
I could have told you that 2 years ago.
I'm going to say this right now early on. If there's a season to not go with the trend with the trenches, it's next year.
For sure.
I think it makes sense.
For sure. The Rams took Ty Simpson. Yeah, they did. I don't know why.
That caught me by surprise.
They think they could turn him into Jordan Love? Good luck.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to be patient about him. No doubt about it.
BCG, the original LC 1378, says Germie can be a monster force. He definitely can. So after night 1, that's the one receiver I really wanted. Mike says, how about this love affair with Iowa? I'm loving it. Yeah, I mean, they're always fleshing out dogs, aren't they? For the longest time, they've been fleshing out dogs. It's unbelievable. I mean, if they keep producing, hey, listen, it's just like Ohio State. Like they keep fleshing out dudes, man. Go.
You keep developing them. You keep recruiting some players and getting some dogs out there. Hey, we'll take them off your hands.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to do a quick refresh to see if there are any more undrafted free agents that have been announced. While we do that, we're going to do a quick ad break. Huge shout to the sponsor of today's video. Huge shout to Prize Picks. Hey, guys, quick timeout from this episode. Consider it your halftime show. No matter what sport you're watching, there's no better way to make the action more exciting than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks is available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. And Prize Picks is real simple to use. All you gotta do is click more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups in just a few taps. And to get you started, Prize Picks is hooking you up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup when you use the code HMA. We got the NHL and NBA playoffs coming up. The MLB, the season is just getting started. One of my favorite aspects and features of Prize Picks is you can add multiple sports to your lineup. Prize Picks now has early buyouts. If your player is off to a really hot start at the beginning of the game and you want to cash out early on those earnings before the game finishes, Prize Picks allows you to do that. We have the Prize Picks app right here on the phone. As you see, these are free picks. You guys can add the free picks and build a streak going, which is a very fun feature of Prize Picks. Let's lock in our pick of the day. You see that top guy, Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6.5 pitcher strikeouts. More or less. The cool thing here is they even give you previous games' performances to kind of get a good feeling on what you should pick if you're not feeling so confident. He's only done it once in his last 5 games, which tells me this guy's kind of due. Let's pick more for Paul Skeens to have 6.5 strikeouts. Download the Prize Picks apps today and use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you place your first $5 lineup. Click in description box below. Huge shout to Prize Picks. It's good to be right. By the way, I just found out Deontay Lawson went undrafted and went to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Why does that make such sense?
Why, Dan? Because it is. It's just written in the stars. That's why.
Did we grab any more?
I've been looking. I don't think we have as of yet.
All right, I was holding out.
Not even a linebacker for an undrafted player. At least not yet.
You want to draft Jeremiah Smith, Cade? Yeah. I would love to. I would love to. You kidding me? I would love to.
Imagine that though, for real.
I don't know, man.
Well, update on the Pens and Flyers game. End of the second period, Pens are up 2-1.
Too close for comfort.
Very close.
Too close for comfort. I don't know, man.
Still not feeling good.
Will suck if lose next year's first round pick because Khan called Lemon too early. No. They're not going to get disqualified for that. He did that with Harmon last year, and the NFL didn't even worry about it. So like they're not going to disqualify us a first round pick because we broke the rules. It's not going to happen. It's just Omar Khan's an idiot and got too damn complacent. But Jenkins, yes, we did sign a couple undrafted free agents. We did. Jim in the chat's got it all covered for you. Tight end Lake McCree from USC. Defensive back Devin Boykin from Indiana. Kevin Jabity, defensive lineman from Syracuse. And kicker Laith Margin from Kansas.
You're much better at pronouncing last names than I am. I would have butchered the ever-living crap out of them.
I'm just trying to
go. So props to you, bro.
I'm just trying to read what I see and hope I say it right.
I do too. It's just I try my best.
Curious what you guys think of Sam Levitt. He's one of my favorites in next year's class. I like him a lot. First of all, 2027, that quarterback class is looking a lot better than the last 2 combined, which is a good thing. Good problem for the Steelers. I like him. I also like Sellers if you can really hone down and work in the pocket and read a defense. Seems to be a common issue with a lot of quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
But no, I think he can really get that down because he's got a lot of tangibles and the fundamentals are there. He just really needs to learn to stay in the pocket and stop abandoning ship and then try to use his rocket arm. You can work in the pocket. So I like Sellers a lot. I do like Levitt a lot. Julian saying, I don't know if he's going to declare next year because wasn't last year his freshman year?
I think last year was his first year, yeah.
And then, obviously, Arch Manning's going to be up for contention. He'll be going into his junior year, I believe, because he was a freshman the year Quinn Ewers was the quarterback. Then he started last year, so I think next year is going to be Arch Manning's junior year. Correct me if I'm wrong. So
That's going to be a very telling season for Arch, though.
All eyes on him. We'll see how that pans out. There's a lot of really good quarterbacks next year, man. We'll see.
Yep. I think the USC quarterback as well. I think he's coming in.
Iron Curtain Empire of Steel. Are you trying to come up with names for the O-line? Mark Collins says, I give this draft a huge D-.
Oof.
I see a lot of people saying that, and I understand it. I totally understand your guys' I suppose, grading.
Coming out of it, I don't think it's that bad. I think we've had worse. Like the Kevin Colbert draft, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm definitely a little underwhelmed, and I think we definitely could have done better. I think we reached on players, but I do like the direction of the line and receiver, but that's really it.
Yeah.
Like, that's really it.
I do feel they could have pivoted and went down a different path, but, like,
well,
that's
that's
just
it.
how I
Like,
feel.
we didn't take linebacker. I still think receiver is a little bit of a concern in terms of depth, unless Wetjen has more upside there, which he could. I don't want to roll it out. But that's about it. It's like, hey, we hopefully finally fixed the line, and Bernard's going to be a monster for us. That's about it. With 10 picks, it's the worst being in Pittsburgh. You mean like during the draft or just in general? All right. I don't do grades this early. I don't, because nothing's happened yet. But for the people putting grades in the chat, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity. What would you give your initial grade regarding how you feel about the class, the players, maybe your feeling or just expectation? However you want to grade it. So, Steelers 2026 draft class grade. A, B, C, D, /F. Give me guys' opinion. Again, I don't do grades because it's nothing's happened yet. But I will say, yeah, I did expect more. I'm a little underwhelmed, and outside of receiver and line being the biggest potential here, everything else is just like there, you know? I do like HEIDENREICH. I like Nowakowski. I like Wetjen, although I think we could have waited, but that's pretty much it.
Everett, too. There's some upside with Everett, just based off where he's come from.
Yeah. Mr. Toxic Black with a 499 says, enjoy y'all content as a Falcon fan. Can't wait to play y'all this year. That's right. We do play the Falcons this year. Who's your starter? Who's our starter?
Well, Penix is recovering from ACL tear, of course. It would be Tua, right? Falcons versus Steelers, the battle of mid at quarterback. I can't wait, brother.
I'm more worried about Bijan. Drake London's a dog, though. Drake London's a dog.
And Pitts had a very good season last year.
Yes, he did.
He had a very good season. Finally. And in Stefanski, man, like, Steelers are familiar with him, right? So, Stefanski in his first year with Atlanta, like, who knows how that's going to go down?
I don't know.
I keep forgetting that he was the head coach.
Yeah, Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah, because they kept Raheem Morris for, 2 years? Very short stint.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
What about Devin Lafayette? What do you think of Devin Lafayette going to the Raiders? I mean, wouldn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me.
No.
Why are all picks high upside instead of already developed? Well, because they're rookies. But I understand your comment because like Allar is a project. Iheanachor is a project. Like, you're not really getting like day one ready guys. Although I would make Iheanachor a day one guy, I'd make Dunker a day one guy, although he hasn't played guard since 2022. Those are your concerns. Those are reasonable. Those are my concerns too. So yeah, I get what you're saying because like, why not just get guys that fit and that are like just ready to go instead of, developing them, right? Developing them essentially from the ground up.
Especially with the pursuit of them being all in, hence why they want Aaron Rodgers to come back.
No, we're not going all in.
No, I know we're not. I don't believe in that, but the Steelers are still delusional with that mindset. Hence why they're trying to get A-Rod, and they hired Mike McCarthy. That's their aspect. So you figured with that mentality, they would have gone best player available. I guess the Steelers are trying to do both at the same time, vie for a title, which they won't win, but that's their pursuit, while still developing on players.
Right.
I don't know. It can be confusing. It really is.
TJ Black says this is a B-. It will be a D- if A-Rod comes back. That Allar pick makes the whole class ass. That's the one souring pick for sure is Allar. Purple Yeti Packs is C+ is being nice in my opinion. Being punked and likely the only draft that'll be in Pitt the next decade or two makes it a D-. Yeah, that was just a sour taste, right? B Mills agrees, C+. I don't know if he's being generous or not, but I would say you will. The O-line will have to learn to protect an old quarterback and then start over next year. I mean, you're not wrong. Just go with the young guys, man. Like, Allar ain't ready. We don't know if Howard's ready. Oh, you know what?
We won't know.
Fuck you, A-Rod. We're going with Will Howard. Mason can be the 2, and Allar, you have to sit because you're not ready. By any fucking means.
I can settle with that.
There we go. Let's fucking go.
Why not? Take the chance. Go with Howard. See what you got in him. If he's your guy, great. If he's not, well, now you know what you do in the first round next year in DC.
Got some depth players, but don't see any standout talent. Got to wait till next year. Yeah, I hear you. I just think we could have addressed it other positions before than what they did, or could have addressed positions that we didn't. I think we could have definitely done more. But we'll see what this class can do. Omar Khan blew it in Pittsburgh in front of everybody, Renegade and that. Dude, every time they play Renegade, they just stop playing Renegade.
Jared, they should never play Renegade again. I'm sorry, it's cursed.
They played Renegade. We were hype as hell because we were there in Heinz Field.
And then Iheanachor is just like, oh.
Yeah.
I didn't think about him.
No. It got better with the Bernard selection, but at the time it's like, wow, you got us all hyped for that. And then you play Renegade again, and then you draft Drew Allar.
It's like
every time you play Renegade, it doesn't work no more. It doesn't.
How many times
just to stop?
How many times during the game last year did they play Renegade and then the defense just went to shit? Dude,
all the time.
Dude, the Bills game, the Steelers Nation, they booed. They booed Renegade.
Just stop playing Renegade.
It's a great song, but it doesn't give the Steelers any good juju.
It doesn't mean anything, bro. It's worthless now. It sucks because it's such a great song and it's type up and I don't know. It's just they shouldn't play it no more.
It's bad luck. Just don't play.
At this
Take
point,
a break.
yeah.
Take a break.
I don't know. Did Danhausen curse us or something? He cursed that song. They
can take a break from Renegade.
I like Max, Bernard, Everett, Dunker, Riley. There's a couple players I like here. Riley Nowakowski, I like. I would have to agree. Everything else is like, Well, HEIDENREICH too.
Can't forget about HEIDENREICH.
Shout Eli. Don't forget Will Howard already sat behind Aaron for a year. Yeah, I mean, it's just, how much longer do you want him to sit? That would be one hell of a special teams unit. They find a free agent out of the CFL that could come in because it's been a while since they had a duo like Rocket, Ismail, and James Jett. What was the last CFL talent was that Deontay Spencer? Does anyone remember him?
Was he CFL?
I think. Then he went to the Broncos and found a good spot on the roster. What do y'all say? No more first-round linemen after this year. Listen, I'm with you. I'm in that camp now. I am in that camp.
Yeah, I think they're...
No more. We don't need to.
I think they're good enough.
We don't need to. Hayward's not retiring anytime soon. We already took linemen, tackle specifically, 3 times in the last 4 years. We're done with linemen. I think. Well, then again, this team might prove me wrong, but I think we can confirm that we're not taking offensive linemen in the first round next year, right?
Dude, no, we're good.
Jalen Daniels is a buck. Of course he is. That doesn't surprise me. Oh, boy. What's the poll? A lot of people give it a C. 46% say C. 31% say B. And A and D/F are tied with 12%.
Oof.
So there you have it.
I mean, again, I can see why you guys say that. It's like coming out of it. Again, coming out of it initially, it has that feeling of being like, you know what I'm saying? But again, the upside is like it could really be something down the road as like good long-term options if the development turns out well. That's kind of like the aspect of what I'm trying to see.
Well, I think there's a lot of good role players in this class. It's just a matter of like all they really fixed was line and receiver, which was two of the biggest needs, yes. But there was just others they could have with all the picks they had and they didn't.
Yeah.
And the way they went about it is just, it's just the perspective of it. But thus, listen, I mean, it's what we have, so it's what we got to deal with. But chat, I think we're going to close it out here tonight. It's 10:30 already.
10:30, yeah.
We've been live 2.5 hours roughly.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, man, thank you guys for sticking with us. It's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy past couple days. It's been a crazy weekend. I miss Pittsburgh already. I missed the draft season already.
It's crazy how it went by so fast. It's literally like Christmas.
Oh, yeah, literally.
Like you wait for it to be here and it's finally here and then it's just like, woof, gone.
Yeah, and then like once it's over, it kind of sits in like, oh, it's over. I waited all year for this and it's over.
Yeah.
But till next year for another season of mock drafts, we'll be very interested to see how that pans out. But guys, we have 10 new Steelers. Like it or not, like the selections or not, like the players or not, we all root for one team and one shield and one result that these guys turn out. And as long as they succeed, the team succeeds, and that's what we're all about. So all these guys, we'll see what they can do. I'm very excited to see them work in camp and once preseason comes around. And I guess until then, the focus is A-Rod. Except not really, because I'm not even thinking of him until he finally makes a move. Until then, Will Howard is quarterback 1, Drew Allar is quarterback 3, and then we're just focusing on the season. That's how I view it.
Pretty much.
So with that being said, man, thank you guys so much for a great stream, a great week, a great draft weekend. For the people we met at the draft, it was a pleasure. And for those that we didn't get to meet, it sucks. We're sorry. We really wanted to. Obviously, Pittsburgh was just too crowded that it's just hard to meet everybody. But clearly, it's not going to be the last time we're going to be in Pittsburgh. It might not even be the last time we'll be at a draft. So until then, we'll see y'all. But for those that we did see, it was great meeting y'all. Thank y'all for the kind words and the hospitality. And, you know, I'm glad we're able to just share some words in that conversation and, you know, get a picture and all that. It was a legitimate, great, awesome experience that I wish never ended. So it was fun. Pittsburgh was fun. The draft was fun. And now the draft class isn't set.
Yes, that's right, bro.
So thank you guys so much. We're going to close it out here. We're going to enjoy the rest of our night. We're going to go relax. All the driving and the moving and the walking. Dude, Thursday we were out there 15 hours. So, yeah, we're a little exhausted. But we're going to go relax. We're going to go enjoy ourselves, enjoy the rest of our weekend. Stay tuned. We're still going to have content coming out throughout the offseason.
Oh, yes, sir. Listen, the content doesn't stop, guys.
No, especially regarding the draft class and everything coming out. There'll still be content coming out, so stay tuned. Thank y'all again. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night. And at the end of the day, here we go, Steelers into the new Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome to Pittsburgh. Welcome to the Steelers. Welcome to the team. Let's get to work. See you into the next one.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys so very much. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!